So I'm gonna go ahead. And start this off saying that you have a free pass.
I have a free pass?
You have a free
or
pass.
All of the people?
Well, all of the people don't have physical access to me, so
Okay.
right now this is relevant to you.
All right.
If you ever catch me retweeting cat snuff on my Twitter, you get a free pass to go right upside my head.
Oh,
Okay?
Uh-huh.
Are you familiar with that? That's back in the day when you'd put your hand on someone's back and you'd run it upwards like, what, pow!
Yeah, I remember.
Going upside someone's head.
That's not what I'm confused about.
Yeah, if you ever catch me retweeting cat snuff,
I'm a little baffled.
even if it's followed by an inquisitive follow-up of my curiosity or some sort of weird word nonsense mumbo jumbo talk, you can go right upside my head. Okay? All right. Randy, no.
Are you serious?
Randy, no.
Are you serious? Why?
I don't fucking know.
Is it because it's magic?
I don't fucking know. There's nothing magic about it. It's a video of a cat and a fucking crab, and the crab kills the cat, and they're put into a. I didn't see the video. I saw a screenshot, and it's a fucking crab versus cat fight thing. And some shitty Twitter was like, haha, lol, this cat gets murdered. And then Randy's like, for your consideration. And then
I think this.
You're like,
you're familiar with the term "horny on main." This is a different. But no, he wouldn't have it all to.
But that's the thing, right? That's sort of the problem in some ways, where you think about like, so when someone has an alt where they're like, I'm gonna switch to my alt because I wanna.
This is what I use to shitpost.
I used to shitpost. I
wanna.
I used to
get toxic.
I want to flame. I want to get political. I want to do whatever the fuck.
Do all that creepy sex shit in the chat room.
I want to do things that no one really wants to hear because they pretty much follow me because of my other stuff.
Yeah.
Right? At what point are you like retweeting fucking animal murder as a good idea, even on your alt?
So,
what's up with that?
I mean, you don't have to go to school for psychology to know that callousness towards adorable animal death is like marker number 1 for sociopathy.
I mean,
right? Or psychopathy, whichever one it is now.
Yeah, you can qualify it with adorable. You know, ultimately, it's like anything that's not an insect.
Sure, you know what I mean.
But even then, depends on it. You know, yeah.
You like, it's
yeah. First sign, always and forever.
It's like,
yeah.
well, huh? You don't care?
Yeah. I mean, remember that time? Remember when we talk about like people reacting really weirdly to like The Walking Dead's dog scene?
Yeah.
You know, and people are being like, so you were cool blowing through all the human zombies.
As overblown some of that is, hey, that's a good sign that you're like a human being.
Well, it's like it like the overreaction is dumb, right? And all of it is in this place of like, okay, you don't.
I can.
But you understand where it comes from.
I can empathize with that. Is I've seen 100 million people get shot to death in video games and stuff. But dogs, it's a perfect pretty little dog.
Yeah, they built a franchise around it. It's called John Wick.
Yeah, they did.
That entire film franchise would not work and be on its 3rd film out this week. By the way,
I bet if it was the wife, it wouldn't hit as hard.
No, because that's just like some other shitty old action movie that we've already seen. Yeah, or like Taken was Taken, you know.
Yeah. And then, my kids.
But like at the end of the day, like really, like John Wick was that capitalized on the audience's fucking like puppy test fear, you know. It 100% does everything that Araki exploits.
Oh, it's so bad.
Is what John Wick is built on. It's the foundation.
For those of you who don't know, what he's referring to, Araki, the author of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, kills dogs a lot in his manga because he says...
Or cats.
He says, you know what's a good way to show that the bad guy is really bad? Just have him kill an animal for no reason.
Yeah.
Bam, done.
Yeah. So you think maybe if Liam Neeson went back and it was his little woofer that got taken, then he would use his particular set of skills.
I don't think much of the plot of that movie would make any sense. I think it would be very confusing.
You've taken my dog.
That first one's pretty good, but they turned to shit.
I'm gonna hunt you down, you black bastard. You hear about that?
Oh,
he told the story.
Oh no, I did hear about that. I
went looking for a black bastard.
I remember hearing about that and assuming it was fake. I just assumed it was fake until I came upon it later in the day again.
Particular set of skills.
Was just.
There's just something about the old school, the old world phrasing.
There's something about, to me, the most shocking thing is like, this is an event that occurred 20, 30 years ago or whatever, right? And he's like, I want to tell this story so that everyone can understand that, we can, like, he's doing it from that place. It's like, everybody has these feelings, and I'm like, no, Liam Neeson.
They're not.
That is not a common feeling.
You're coming from a place that is unfortunately not going to be received the way you think it is.
This is not.
It's not going to go over well, buddy.
He's like, when a friend of yours gets really badly hurt and you just start going out to murder people of a certain race. No, Mr. Neeson, I don't. I am not familiar with that emotion.
When you go looking for a black bastard.
And the way he tells the story, he's like, he expects everyone to be like, yeah, you know what? I have felt that way.
Yep.
I have felt about 1 pint away from kicking off the race war.
And I do have a particular set of skills.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think and I think any film where, they do the test and you see like, oh, there originally was like an exploding puppy in that scene, but we decided to cut that because the audiences got really upset.
Yeah.
Like, John Wick proves that you can show that to an audience, as long as the rest of the film is dedicated to the burning vengeance crusade,
and the fucking
in the name of that fucking
kid
dog.
That does it is just like the smarmiest fucking. Just I'm Theon Greyjoy, I think, or whatever.
And he gets it in the most, not even the hardest way possible, the most dismissive way possible.
Yeah, it's like, now you're done, and then we gotta move on.
That's
to the
the
rest
thing
of the
about
movie.
that's the thing about that vengeance moment too, is it's not the big hard kill, the big fat kill, excuse me, from Sin City.
He doesn't get thrown off a building into a thresher or anything.
Yeah,
like
and he doesn't get ripped apart by 4 dinosaurs like that fucking poor lady that just did nothing to deserve it.
That movie, I feel like it has a weird message to say about family that's like super dark.
Like, you would think that she were the villain behind the whole thing, the way she got it.
That she let them out.
But willingly to see what they would do to the babies.
Oh, yeah. We got the baby farm over on this side.
We want to see how infants versus velociraptors.
I'm gonna put the trail of blood right from the velociraptor cage to the baby cage.
No, he doesn't get it like that. He just gets it in the most dismissive way, which is even worse.
Isn't it just like pop pop? And he just walks away.
He walks up to him and he starts to go into his plead, and he doesn't even get a couple words out before he just blows him away and walks on. It's just the most like, you don't get anything special. Eat a bullet, you're done. Oh, it's super cold.
I gotta see that third movie. That's probably pretty
fresh, hot off the presses, right out there now. Go see it. Don't do that. Don't fuck with the dude's dog. So all that to say that if you're a video game developer or a face of a company of any kind, and your general existence on social media,
he is the CEO of that company,
which means you call the shots ultimately. And if you're in a sort of a public facing scenario where you're part personality, part
corporate entity,
just don't maybe assume that people want to check out catsnuff.
Randy seems like the kind of guy who knows he's going to go to jail, which I don't know if
he's counting the days down.
I don't know if there's anything specific on the docket about it, but Randy seems like the kind of guy who's eventually going to go to jail.
Or has been, or is affiliated
Every single story that comes out from former employees is like, yeah, Randy is a criminal asshole who steals money from the company and punches people.
There's also just the weird non sequitur moments like this, allegedly. Are you saying basically that, like, Randy is fucking Creed from The Office? He's the old man that just says weird shit
Old
that you're
man,
like,
why are you in here?
What is up with that? Are you growing damp monk beans in your?
I think there's probably a
shelf?
lot of very talented people at Gearbox who work really hard, and then just count the days since the amount of time it's been since Randy had to actually talk to them specifically, and they try and keep their head down because that man is crazy.
God.
Allegedly.
Yeah, well, anyway, that happened, and that was really just what? Why? What? Also,
I can't believe that didn't find its way to me, that nobody told me.
It also was double confusing on the level of, like, the account he quoted was an account that was just like lol animals or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And it was just a stupid retweet farm of, like, crying emojis and cute animals.
Yeah, like I follow a bunch of cute animal Twitters.
Yeah, basically. And it was just one of those.
And they were like, haha.
Yeah, but I guess this was one of those ones where, like, you don't know where they're from or what's up, and then in these moments where they go, haha, look at the fight, and then the cat dies, you're like, oh, this might be like a Russian one, or you know what I mean? Like, you don't quite know. It's all emoji talk, so you don't quite know, and then suddenly you go, oh, this is from somewhere where life is cheap and fast.
Yes.
and you didn't quite realize that your audience was not looking
the robot,
for this type of animal video.
Correctly scraped the internet for cat videos to steal, and then it found this one, and no one double checked it before it got uploaded.
Yeah. God, like what the fuck is it called? Like corgis now or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Or sheebs, right?
I thought there's sheebs every day. I follow cute animals, round animals.
Yeah. So
round
just
animals, a good Twitter.
Serbian cute animal vids. Right? A trustworthy source for your daily Instagram videos of dopamine hits.
Found out why Serbian film is so fucked up. Are you familiar with? You're familiar with Serbian?
I'm familiar intimately with Serbian film.
As you watched it
on a thematic level, on a literal, on a subtext, metaphorical.
Yeah,
and the message that the director was going.
So yeah,
for.
The message the director was apparently going for is that Serbia has no ratings board of any kind, and he made the most fucked up movie ever so that he could go look. Like a kid could just walk into a theater and see this. This is fucking stupid.
I mean, there's more than one reason why. Yeah. That's one of them. The others being that the message is ultimately that life in Serbia after the war is such dog shit that the people that are effectively supposed to be running your country are willing and able and aggressively out to fuck you from the moment you're born till the moment you die. And then they keep on fucking you after you die.
Little bit literal on that.
Yes, this is quite literally.
So that's 2 thumbs up from Wooly on Serbian film.
On a subtext level, absolutely.
All right,
gets his point across.
On a enjoyable movie level.
Hey,
no, okay.
It's kind of like Annihilation, you know. On a subtext level, yeah, you're doing it. You're getting your point across. On a literal level, yikes.
Yeah.
Now that's what I call fucking yikes, Randy.
Yikes, Randy, why?
It's just a fucking tweet, a retweet of the entirety of Serbian film submitted for your consideration.
Hey, check out this cool thing I found on the internet.
Yeah. So, right upside the head. Starting at the bottom. Pat on the back, right underneath the neck, man? And whap.
I think we're good. I don't think this is a necessary allowance, but you know what? Thanks. I would also like to extend the same allowance to you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think you'll have to actually think about this ever again, but hey, free pass.
Because, like, the days that I come from, right? The days of internet that I come from.
Yes, back in the many of you internet children don't understand what the internet used to internet.
Are the days of holy fuck, have you seen this video of this woman? She's now being called the Cat Crusher.
Oh, I remember her.
And
didn't she get disappeared?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So, oh cool, you put a video out of you in stilettos destroying a kitten for like fetish purposes?
Yeah.
Nice. What's that bridge you're standing on?
Yeah.
Cool. What's that skyscraper in the background? Uh-huh. Okay, cool. Yeah. See you in 5.
But I believe she did in fact get
And,
disappeared.
well, it was disappeared in the sense that it was voluntarily disappeared.
Oh yeah.
Because effectively she was tracked to her job,
Yeah.
then to her house, and then to her parents' place. And it was very much a time to pick up and leave and create a new life thing, which harassing people is not great. Don't do that. That's horrible. That's fucking shitty and terrible. And doxing is awful. And it's just, it's not a great thing. I'm not at all saying this is encouraged. However,
what you are saying is that when bad things happen to bad people, it's hard to feel sympathy for them.
it's way harder to feel sympathy. And providing that, you know, she didn't meet the same fate in that way.
No.
The idea of like, well, at least on a level of you can no longer be the person that does this type of thing anymore, because also jail wasn't a thing.
Yeah, I don't know what was
right.
that.
There was no actual repercussion for what she did.
Yeah.
So then it was like, all right, mob justice time. And mob justice sucks, awful, but there's something.
Mob justice is the way, is what I'm hearing from you.
No.
The mob knows what it's doing.
Sometimes you don't join the mob.
Yeah.
But you grab a seat.
Yeah.
You grab a seat and you kind of take in what's going on.
Yeah.
You know? Sometimes.
Hey, take it from Wooly, guys. Sometimes the mob has it right, and you just gotta take a seat.
Okay. Well, anyway, that's the era that I recall. You know.
Yeah.
You know, she didn't go back to playing for the NFL after that.
Oh man.
Yeah. Hey man. Hey. He did his time. He paid his debt to society. Look at those touchdowns.
So I think the saddest thing about what you're talking about, I'm not 100% sure what player you're talking about, and not because I don't follow football, but because being a professional athlete is essentially a free pass to commit certain crimes.
Yeah, and if I were talking about the crime of Galactica phantoming your wife and or girlfriend and or baby mama,
then we would run out the time on this.
But I'm specifically talking about
the dog fighting,
cross-tag dog battle.
Okay.
In which place you only go one way. And the fact that he returned to a very, very good numbered career leads to people then defending and or being like, hey man, come on, all right?
We get it. We're getting so political today with the football.
Is it really political that you're a shitty person if you fucking
I have been told
animal murderers are shitty people? Is that political?
I have been told.
Are we drawing a line?
Apparently that includes me laughing at, now I'm going to go even further out to the sports, to the college sports, to laughing at the idiots who are like, put Paterno's statue back up, he's a hero.
Sure.
Like, is somehow political. It's like, come on, man. Bury the statue in the ocean, you dumb college fucks.
Like, ultimately, there's an argument to be made that that guy Dempsey rolling his girlfriend is like got some serious CTE.
Hey man, you know what that means? That means they're aggressive on the field,
right? There's some fucking worse cases that went down that everybody knows of, you know, that don't end nice.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like if you're doing the King of Iron Dog tournaments in your backyard, that's not impulsive.
No, you had to plan. You had to buy some boards. Like, you had to call some guys.
You had to get an announcer in there.
Yeah.
You had to create like a fucking a tournament ladder bracket. You know, you had to get some portraits.
You had to get some towels.
You had to get an announcer.
Yeah.
Right? Call together friends.
You had to call Jimmy.
At the very
tell him
minimum,
that you're running a racket.
At the very minimum, you had to come with some cash and like fucking bookies ready to take the bets. And you know, you just There's some planning involved. That's not an impulsive thing where you're like, I'm normal, I'm in an argument, I'm violent, I'm back to normal, which is what CTE is kind of like.
Yeah.
This is a very, like, that's not the same thing.
No.
No. So...
Unless that CTE episode happens to last for multiple days
Unless it's a brand new
calm
form.
planning.
Yeah. Unless CTE stands for Canine Tournament Extreme.
Listen, I took a couple knocks to the head.
I
had
suffer
to see
from
the dogs fight.
Michael Vick has CTE. Canine Tournament Extreme.
It's deep in there, bro. I can't get it out.
Hey, no one specified. It says right here on the paper.
CTE. You didn't. It's an acronym. You could be in anything.
No one's stopping.
It means all sorts of shit.
Hey, this is free pass. Free pass. Free pass, and
all right.
It's caught all the way to the end
So,
zone.
here's a list of things that we know not to do according to the Beast Cast. Sorry, the Castle Super Beast Cast. Still screwing that up. 1, don't hit your significant other. 2, don't organize dogfighting rings.
Don't spend meter
3,
on it.
Don't get the blue trail.
Don't do it. We don't need buttery versions.
3, don't retweet weird animal snuff, or you know what? Snuff. Shit.
How about this? An animal getting hurt.
Yeah.
Dude, like I saw like 3 videos of what looked like the same dog. I don't think it is, but it's the same type of dog. It's like a husky looking like woofer getting fucking tricked out of thinking it was picking the right thing, where it's like I got like 5 treats in this hand and I got 1 treat in this hand, and whoa, sleight of hand, pick one, and it picks the 5 and it gets nothing.
Yeah.
Or like 2 big bowls of food, but this one has 1 hot dog on it and this one has a whole bunch of other meats on it, and then it picks the one with the other meats, and then you slide it forward and the other meats are just like a sticker.
Yeah.
And you peel it off and it's just a normal bowl, and the dog gives you that, are you fucking kidding me look?
Dude, no, you know what? That's hilarious.
Right?
Tricking your animal and being like, haha, you're stupid, and then petting them and then giving them the food.
Or
the best.
Or they toss it a little treat, and it comes in the room, they toss it a treat and it bites it and then like kind of walks away, and then they all pull out like a giant gourmet tray and put it on the table, and they're like, okay, we were hiding the food correctly, and then they look back over and the dog's just looking in the room like, you motherfuckers. Like that shit, that feels bad enough.
No,
right?
That's hilarious.
That feels like you're tricking something that couldn't possibly get the better of it.
Dude, that's hilarious. You ever trick a dumb person?
But they never
do it?
But they never end the video where they get they get both anyway. They never end the video. That dog stares at the cupcakes and he never gets.
That poor dog with the cupcakes.
You never find out if he gets those cupcakes or not.
He doesn't get the cupcakes.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
He's not allowed to get the cupcakes.
Of course not.
You can't feed dogs cupcakes.
But that's what, you know what I mean? And you're just like, that's just mean. So that's already skirting a line for me, much less getting into actual pain, much less getting into fucking clip, snip. You know? Come on. I don't know.
What about that blanket shit? Where you put the blanket up and you disappear and the dog goes nuts.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Because they're like, oh, you disappeared.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, that's great.
That's great. You're not. I mean, ultimately, it's like that's a moment of confusion is fine. A complete bamboozling.
Yeah.
Of treats.
Oh man.
Or denial of pets. Fuck
I'm
you,
gonna
Game
plug
of Thrones.
a relatively obscure video on the internet, which is Smart Wiener Dog versus Dumb Wiener Dog. It is a tiny perimeter made out of what appears to be Coke cans. Just Coke cans. Like, I don't know, 6 inches tall, whatever. You put the Dumb Wiener Dog in, trapped.
Forever.
Can't.
Yeah.
Just can't. Oh my God. They have to open up a little path and then it will waddle out. Smart Wiener Dog, pop that thing down, just jumps out in 1 second.
Yeah.
Just instantly.
Yeah.
Animals have wildly varying intelligence.
See, but then here's the other problem, okay?
Love that video.
So, like, then you see a video of this dog that has to walk backwards through doors.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's smashed into a fucking glass, and it's now just terrified of that. And I've seen this Saran wrap, like, pranks or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, that kind of thing. It just takes one experience of like, what the fuck just happened to me? Life is not what I thought it is. Reprogram everything.
Yeah, dogs that won't go through open doors because the frame is there is goofy to me.
So, you know.
They don't want to boop their head on the glass, but there's
Yeah.
no glass, doggo.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just, that's it. I remember that era where someone would have the fucking balls or sociopathy to think that other people were in and thought this would be cool too. Look how fun it is that I'm doing this.
The problem is that some people are in.
Yeah. Yeah, clearly when a bunch of soldiers are out in whatever country going, hoorah, and then grabbing a puppy and tossing it off a bridge.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey.
Well, you're going all greatest hits today.
Because they're coming to mind.
Yeah.
Because these are the ones that made an impact and had a big deal.
That one's really old. That's like 10 years ago.
That's the era.
Yeah.
And then you go, who the fuck were those guys? Okay, well, not anymore. You know? And that's the kind of, like, feelings that people had whenever these things would happen. Because it's just, like...
Good thing not to do.
And it was also... Maybe it was before people... Maybe it was before the algorithms figured out that, like, outrage clicks were a thing. Because those things would spread like fucking wildfire. Because it's like, do you want to feel super upset and like mad today and direct it at a clear and obvious target with no possible justifiable explanation whatsoever? Here you go. You know? And
there's no complicated moral dilemma here.
No.
You just get to go bad person, bad.
Done. End of story. There's no 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's nothing else to say. Especially when you bring it up to the laughter with the sound effects or whatever the fuck you get out of it. You know, so.
Seems like Randy did a really good job making everyone really happy.
Are there any cute animals in Borderlands?
There's Claptrap, which is kind of a cute animal. It's a robot.
Yeah, but there's no, like...
He's been revoiced, and Randy allegedly attacked his former voice actor.
Yeah, but there's no, like... fucking, like...
No, there's no animal mascot. The
Okay.
animal mascot is the robot.
Okay. There's no pet shop or
No.
or Iggy or...
No.
Okay. Well,
It's a bunch of monsters.
fair enough. Yeah. What did you do this week?
All right, so my week's been really boring. I started watching Band of Brothers again for funsies, and I just found out, I guess it's Memorial Day, so I guess that's appropriate.
Bob.
That's a great TV show. And of note, upon rewatching it again, I have to say,
Did you get your DVD boxes out?
I have my DVD boxes, but I got better versions somehow, for convenience. Yeah, I don't know where that DVD set is, but what's the guy's name who plays the Ross in the Friends?
David Schwimmer.
David Schwimmer? Man, he is a great actor. You ever seen Band of Brothers?
I've seen episodes.
He plays the most loathsome, contemptible fuck CEO. Just annoying, smarmy, smug-ass prick motherfucker in the world.
He swims it up.
Yeah, and it's just like, just roiling, vicious hatred for this asshole. And there's part of it that I think of, and it's like, this is accounts based on real stories. Whether or not this person is a direct person, David Sobel, or whether or not he is an amalgamation of various people, of like, this behavior is real and did happen, and oh my god, he's such an asshole.
So
Such a prick.
He's Ross.
Yes.
Okay.
What if Ross was in the military?
Okay.
And not a pussy?
And a commanding officer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just, so awful. The rest of the week, playing a bunch of games that I've already talked about. Plague Tale continues to be fucking awesome, amazing, great. You should play that. Everybody should play that. It's great. Indie success.
I'm gonna take a peek just to see.
I thought it was a new game from a brand new company. It is not. It is by the guys who made Fuel.
Fuel.
Yes, the racing game. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Played more Hat in Time. I don't have much to say other than that game is adorable, and I think
Cute mascot.
I think it controls better than Mario Odyssey. Like, I think I like the feel of it better than Mario Odyssey.
Well, it looks more like a Rare than it does a Nintendo.
It's just a little looser. Like, there's a little less inertia and I like it.
Hmm.
But by far the most interesting thing that I did this week, which unfortunately parts of it will bore you to tears, Wolves, is I watched that Final Fantasy XIV live letter,
Yoshi
which
P?
I streamed, which ended up being like 6 hours long.
Yoshi P?
Yoshi P, yes.
Yep.
You familiar with Yoshi P? He's the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the screenshots of him dying in the fucking stream
I heard
and clawing his face?
I heard lots of people basically going, "Mac, poor Yoshi P."
So here's why poor Yoshi P. So, stream starts up half hour early, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're in San Francisco. They're doing a media tour to show off the new expansion. All right. Start off a half hour early. They usually do this. So that, okay, we're going to test the sound. Can you hear my microphone? Everyone in chat goes, yeah, you hear your microphone. Can you hear the game? No. Okay. Half hour passes. It is now time to start the stream. The translator lady and Yoshi P sit down as well. Can you hear the no? And this is where the fun starts. At about the 40-minute mark, you can hear. I think it's what's his? People call him Tony the intern. Is like running in front of the camera to start clicking things on the computer they have in front of them and testing the Windows noise. And then they're going to a break screen and you can hear cables being unplugged. You can hear like that pop noise of inputs being reinserted. And then every now and then you tune back in and it is a max volume Windows tone looped at like ear blasting volume or screaming static or just the worst. And then every time they come back and go, okay, guys, we restart everything. Can you hear the game? No. No, you can't.
Did you notice if there were people in the chat using "hold on, big hold on"?
There were 70,000 people watching this, so I did not see that. But that was the joke hitting me on Twitter, is that my technical issues infected them. It got so bad that the solution they used for the first, 2 hours was they figured out how to play the sound through the TV they were looking at and were just letting their lapel mics pick it up. And then they're like, okay, guys, we know what you've all been waiting for. We're going to show you the Job Actions trailer, which is all the new fancy moves every single class is going to get. It's a 15-minute long trailer. It's amazingly edited. It has great transitions. It has 3 or 4 great pieces of music in it. It's so slick. And they hit that play button, and there's no goddamn sound in the fucking video feed either. To which they were supposed to take an intermission. They come back. Oh, guys, we're so sorry. Hey, we're working on it. It took about 2.5 hours for them to be live fixing this to actually get it working, in which they finally did. Which leads to probably my favorite explanation from a live development studio, like during a live stream. Yoshi P is sitting there hands over his face or clawing at his face or just looking into the distance, right? He's sick at this point. Like, he's ill at the event. He's working on the game at the event. He's doing 21 interviews and whatnot, and he sits down for this 4-hour chunk, and he's now an hour and a half in and nothing's happened. And the translator and the other guy, I forget his name, Fox something, say, oh, don't worry, guys. Yoshi P's not angry. It's just his face always looks like that. He's not angry at all. No one in the world believes that shit.
And they were calling it out on stream.
Yes. They were telling you, don't worry, guys. He's not mad. He's just tired. And it's like, that's bullshit. You're looking at his face and you're looking at the stare in his eyes, and it's that feeling. You remember what Miyamoto's face looked like?
He's very upset.
When the Skyward Sword demo just fucking fell apart on stage. That fucking I'm like, ha, I'm gonna kill someone.
Professionalism, especially as an icon, in many cases for like a Japanese icon, means that like you can at worst hit a 5.
Yeah.
You cannot go below a 5. So
He was very, very far below a 5.
Glass shattering.
And this is on top of the last thing that they did, which was the Japanese fan fest. When he went on stage, everyone was mic'd up wrong. Like, it's every time you tune into a Final Fantasy stream of some kind now, shit's falling apart. It's falling the fuck apart. After all that shit got solved, though, everything they showed was everything. So let me put it this way. There were leaks that came out beforehand with some, hey, this job's going to get this job's going to get this. Most people didn't believe them, because they were literally too cool to be true. They were I don't know what the equivalent. It reminds me of when there were rumors like, "Hey man, Ryu's gonna get the fucking Shin Shoryuken in Super," right? And you're like, "Oh, I wish," but he's probably not, because that would be too cool, right? It's that, right? So, like, right off the bat, the only thing I'm going to talk about of specific mechanical thing here, because I don't want to pour poor Wooly to tears, is that my class, the Dark Knight, gets to summon a stand. I'm dead serious. You summon a fucking shadow clone of yourself that you fight to. Oh, you're just on your phone. Oh, man.
I'm just checking.
Oh, man.
I'm just checking.
Oh, man. But yeah, no, everybody gets everything that they wanted. Summoners get a Phoenix summon. White mages finally have something to do with that Lily. Everyone is happy. Everything is great. But more interesting than that is this has reinvigorated my desire to play the game, so I've been leveling up new characters. And the servers have queues now. There are so many people coming back to the game or starting up the game that the servers have login queues again prior to the expansion. And more than that is that when you're a new player in that game, under 100 hours or something, you get a little green sprout next to your name to show that you're a newbie. Everywhere. Everywhere. Almost every single time I run anything, I get a notification that says, hey, there's somebody who's never done this dungeon before.
So the update brought in new players?
The update is bringing in a shit ton of new players. In fact, they just announced, hey, we're up to 16 million registered accounts.
Why is that? Like, who's going out and purchasing FF14 for the first time right now?
People who saw that trailer and went, oh, wow, that's really cool. Huh. So, for example, let me give you a really good example here. For whatever reason, artists are weak to this. As Mothman, Fabracini, Eogard, all messaged me and were like, so yeah, I got in, and I got in because I saw you flipping your shit on the live letter, and now I'm playing it. It seems pretty fun. It's about basically, how do I put this? This is a genre that needs evangelizers. Fighting games are kind of the same way, where no one sees a fighting game unless it's part of a big franchise like Dragon Ball and goes, yeah, now's the time to get into fighting games. No, they know that guy. The guy who's always into fighting games, and they see them particularly going nuts about this one.
But isn't MMOs more so like about pulling someone away from WoW?
No,
because isn't it like if
WoW's
you're into MMOs, then
you're a long time.
If you're into MMOs, then you're into like the big one,
yeah,
and or the crazy Eve one. And then it's about
if you're into fighting games, you're into Street Fighter or anime is basically what you're saying, and that's why no new people get in.
Okay.
The people that are interested in MMOs overall is actually a lot higher than you would think, but they either bounce off or play WoW and don't like it, or, and what's happening right now, they're what is called WoW refugees, which there are a lot of.
Tekken is full of Street Fighter refugees.
Yeah.
What's the most popular MMORPG right now?
It's WoW still.
Okay. Second place?
Second place would be 14.
Okay.
It's really frustrating because I think you remember back, I don't know, 8-9 years ago when every MMO would say, this is our concurrent player number. This is our number of live accounts. And that pretty much stopped when World of Warcraft said, hey, we have 11 million subs right now. Because no one's ever going to beat that. And then they changed to the metric of, this is how many players have played the game. So FF14 says, there's 16 million players. Haha. It's like, how many are playing, though?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is somewhere around probably 600,000.
Yeah, the word active is the real stat.
But just seeing just this massive explosion in regards to that train wreck of a fucking live letter is encouraging.
I feel like someone that I speak to online that like is like in and out, and it feels like every now and then one of these things pops up, and then it's like, okay, come back in, and then you fade out.
So
and then you just kind of like ride the wave.
Thing they ever did with 14 is that the way they've decided it with the patch cycle is you have your expansion, then every 3 to 5 months you have a patch which includes new shit, and every even numbered patch is new stuff to like vertical progression, and every odd numbered patch is for catching up. Like it becomes trivial to catch up to that one. The way that they and like when you roll over on the even number patch, it be like the old stuff, the old good shit becomes the new bad shit, and it goes up a level. Is they've just straight up designed it and go, okay, we know you're gonna quit your sub, you're gonna lapse for 6 months, you're gonna lapse for a year, then you'll come back and you'll catch up, and that's fine. Like they've even said that out loud on the dev stream, which is wild to me. That an MMO developer would go, yeah, we understand if you just leave the game for 6 months. Because that's money out of their pocket, right? But it leads to a lot of people, like the player count explodes when the expansion comes out. And then 6 months from now, it'll be much, much lower. But this is the biggest I've ever seen it explode before the expansion even comes out. This is people going, I want to get a character up there so that I can see this cool ass shit as soon as it fucking June 28th rolls around.
If you stop subbing, is there a countdown before your shit gets wiped?
No, never. Never. Oh my god, people will go nuts.
I imagine, yeah.
You need to keep that shit forever so that people feel the need to resub.
Okay. Did you play Guild Wars 2?
I did.
Okay.
That was the game I explained to you, the buy-to-play concept.
Yes, where it's a completely separate version of this where you actually purchase the game once.
Yes. You buy it and you play it.
Right. So now that we're this far out, and I think they would sell expansions too, right? Yep. They'd sell expansions. But, like, how do they make money without that submodel now that we're so far out? Is it just through selling in-game?
So you have your two models, which is your traditional sub MMO, right? Sorry, 3 models. You have your traditional sub MMO, right? You have, hey, Final Fantasy and WoW, just pay us $13 to $16 a month USD. You get a discount on it if you buy a year or whatever, right? Then you have your buy-to-play. Sorry, 4 models, Christ. Which is then supplemented by your cash shop with your mini buys. Mm-hmm. Then you have your straight-up free-to-play, which is all mini buys, right? And then you have, I don't even know what to call it, I guess subscription optional, which is, it is buy-to-play, but you can subscribe for $15 a month, and you'll get a bunch of mini buy currency and bonuses, which Star Trek Online and Elder Scrolls Online do that. Where, hey man, it's totally free to play. KOTOR does that as well. But do you actually want infinite bag space or all these perks?
Right.
And you're gonna kick in that sub.
So you can like basically warframe it or like yeah, like give 2 tiers of players type of thing. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And then there's Warframe, which is the pure free to play with the mini buys. And I guess it counts because it's a weird. I don't know what the fuck that game is anymore. That's a weird fucking game. But yes, everybody excited for FF14. A shocking amount of people that I didn't know were into it suddenly became into it and were like, yeah, hey, I'm having a good time. Yeah. It was a really fun time to see Mothman streaming it and then realize that he's on my server so that I could go stand next to him, but like directly behind him, like 2 inches from his back of his head, and do stupid shit in the background of his stream.
I saw him say that he pretty much subs for the story.
That's fine. A lot of people do. That's why the patch months are the months with the highest player count. It's got a really good story. Dark Knights get stands. Oh, speaking of stands, actually. I know you saw it.
I didn't.
You didn't.
No, I've had a busy week where I did not get to watch this week's JoJo.
It's
I heard it's 30 seconds.
It's 32 seconds.
Good. That's about 7 pages,
And,
except not.
and
7 pages or 12 pages should definitely be a lot longer than that. But
so 3
yeah.
pages for Steely Dan was 14 seconds, and double that, which would be 28.
Yep.
Plus a little. So you know what? According to the anime rules, it's pretty on point. Once again, hilariously, language is genetic. And big kudos to Jordo's voice actor for doing a really hard job with that performance.
Cool. Okay.
There are some real long takes in
Okay.
that thing
Okay.
that I definitely know I don't have the lung capacity or vocal skill to do.
Awesome. I have high hopes because it's the coolest part of Part 5.
Yeah.
It's literally the one highlight thing that
People were telling me, because I can't read Japanese, so
Yeah.
I'll have to take their word for it,
Yeah.
that in the credits...
Oh my god. Dude, I watch it with my girl when she has time, we'll watch it together.
Yeah.
That's why I have
That-
it's not just my schedule.
That in the
We'll get to
credits, it is shown that it was in fact a completely different animation team called the Muda team.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. That's wild.
Because you look at it and just about as much money went into this 32-second clip
Then the rest of the
than the
episode.
whole rest of the episode.
Yeah. Okay. It's the part. It's the Part 5 thing.
Yeah.
And I have no problem telling anybody that it is downhill from here.
Yeah.
If you don't know what happens in the future of JoJo and this is all new to you while you're watching the show week to week, this is the highlight and then you're just going to ride it out from here.
Yeah. That dude's a jerk.
Yeah.
He's a jerk.
Established. Yeah, I'll get to it when we get a chance.
Well, that's pretty much it for me. If you want to check out my stuff that I do during the week, I'll be doing Yakuza, Plague Tale, and Hat in Time this week. That's over at the twitch.tv/angriestpat.
No, it's not. No. I think it's the coolest thing in Part 5. You can disagree with me. That's fine. I don't think anything that happens after this point surpasses that point. I think there's 2 other really awesome things that occur, but I don't think they actually surpass that the Punch Fest. I'll debate that. I don't care. You can disagree.
I think most of the people going, what the hell, I think you're talking about JoJo in general, not just Part 5.
Oh, well, then they're just not listening properly.
I know. That's how it is.
That is how it is.
People don't listen.
So.
Oh, hey, play FF14. It's a good game. You can ask me for tips on Twitter. That's at angriestpat as well.
Yeah, I feel like I've repeated till I'm blue in the face that Steel Ball Run is the greatest thing.
You have.
So, what? Anyway, a lot of people. Hey, speaking of things, let's take a quick word from our sponsors.
Let's do that.
Haven't said that in a minute.
Yeah, I haven't said that in a minute.
Yeah.
What sponsors do we have this week, Willie?
This week, Castle Super Beast is sponsored by DoorDash. DoorDash.
Oh, they give you food, do they not?
Hey, they bring it straight to your door. They dash to your door, and they bring the food. That's correct.
I really genuinely thought it was a really interesting idea to make a carless food delivery service.
They tap forward.
Just like, listen, man.
All the way.
We hire some buff, lanky people.
And they just sprint in full 60 frames per second
And they
animation.
gotta hold it like kind of even, so they gotta be actually moving their arm up and
No,
down.
that's not what they do.
Okay, what do they actually do?
Well, what they actually do is if you're having a long day at work, tough day at school, if you're stuck at the office and you want a treat from your favorite restaurants, then you want to look into DoorDash, right? If you're not in the mood to deal with the cooking, I know I'm often not in that mood. If you're not in the mood to make stuff that is not going to taste as good as your favorite places.
Listen, everybody who listens to this podcast knows I'm an accomplished chef. However, sometimes I just don't have the time to cook up that risotto.
So when it's dinner time and you just want to get it, and you want to get it right away, you want to hook up with DoorDash. It connects you to your favorite restaurants in the city. Ordering's easy. You just use the DoorDash app and choose what you want to eat, and the Dash will bring it to you anywhere you are. Not only that, but it's got that burger place you love. It's got over 300,000 other amazing restaurants.
That's a lot.
That's a whole lot of restaurants on your registry. That's crazy. They connect you with door-to-door delivery in over 3,300 cities in all 50 states and Canada.
Yeah, Canada's in there.
We're absolutely in there.
Yeah.
So you can order from your local go-tos. You can choose from chains like Chipotle, Wendy's, Chick-fil-A.
Dude, I would fucking... Oh, I want a Wendy's delivered to me so bad.
Yeah.
There's only the one Wendy's in town. It's way out there.
I would abuse Cheesecake Factory delivery, quite frankly.
That's not... You can't... You can't do that.
That's bad. That's a
bad
That's
path.
wild. I would go nuts ordering from that. So don't worry about dinner. Let the dinner come to you with DoorDash. So right now, listeners of this podcast can get $5 off their first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter the promo code SUPERBEAST.
SuperBeast.
That's $5 off your first order when you download the DoorDash app from the App Store and enter the promo code
SuperBeast.
Hell yeah. Again, that's promo code SUPERBEAST for $5 off your first order from DoorDash. Thank you, DoorDash.
Thank you, DoorDash. Very appreciated.
And the podcast this week is also sponsored by Away. First class luggage at a coach price.
Oh, I remember these guys.
You should. You know why?
Because they do good luggage.
They do. Like all premises aside, quite literally the best suitcase I own. Mm-hmm. And like the Away luggage is been my go-to for every trip I've taken, because you got the phone charger, the USB, connected right in the slot. It sits right there. You don't have to fight to get to the outlet at the airport. Doesn't matter where you sit. You've got a fully charged, ready to power your device's charger right in there. You've got a luggage bag inside. You've got perfect dividers, good space, fits into the carry-on. Fantastic. Straight up the best piece of luggage I own. It's been amazing. I
honestly get one.
It's been invaluable in recent trips, and it's got high quality materials at a much lower price compared to other brands, cutting out the middleman, selling directly to you. You've got 9 colors and 4 sizes with a carry-on, a bigger carry-on, the medium or the large.
For big trips.
Yeah, they're made with German polycarbonate, unrivaled strength. That's like German polycarbonate.
Germans always make good stuff.
Strong. And of course, you've got the 360-degree spinner wheels. Yeah, super smooth, pushing that through the airport. No problem.
I think one of the worst experiences I've ever had at an airport was having some piece of shit luggage that one of the wheels just started to go like a shopping cart.
Yep.
It's like, oh my God.
None of that.
Deal with this for a week.
None of that. TSA-approved combination lock built into the top.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
It's got the straps on the patent-pending compression pat straps on the inside that like hold your junk down
Yeah.
for extra space in there when you need it. It's super, super handy. It's a pretty ingenious piece of luggage. So you've got a lifetime warranty. If anything breaks, they'll fix and replace it for you for life. And you've got a 100-day trial. Live with it, travel with it, do whatever you need to do, see if you like it. And if you don't, you get a full refund, no questions asked.
100 days seems pretty confident.
It's crazy. Crazy amount of time to try out your stuff. But you can take it on a couple trips, see how you feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
Free shipping on any away order within the lower 48 states. What you want to do to take advantage of that
How would I take advantage of this?
is for $20 off a suitcase, visit awaytravel.com/beast.
Beast.
And use the promo code BEAST during checkout. That's awaytravel.com/beast with the promo code BEAST during checkout for $20 off a suitcase.
This is fun to do. I like
It
this.
is.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have our own.
Yes.
Thank you, Away.
Thanks, Away.
And away we go.
Ha!
Back to the weeks.
Hey, man, what up?
Hey, so
Hey.
I had it's weird to say like I had a busy week but an uneventful week,
Yeah, I know.
right? Because
Errands,
I had a
whatever.
week of doing a lot of shit that involved not watching or playing things. So
Really anything of interest. It's like, I fixed the trash thing, and then I went into the Canadian Tire and got that new garbage can.
and saw some people, did some brunches, whatever,
Yeah.
ultimately. But in terms of stuff that I did do, I started the third birthday.
I saw.
The third birthday.
How's that shit?
Well, no one told me. I mean, a lot of people said a lot of things, but at no point was I made aware that this game is not Parasite Eve 3, the third birthday, or even Parasite Eve, the third birthday.
No, it's
This game is the third birthday.
That's right.
And it shows...
Featuring Parasite Eve, I guess.
Not even. Because so far, the word mitochondria has not been uttered.
Yeah.
Not even a fart in the wind. This is basically legally distinct and almost feels like another game got skinned out Dinosaur Planet style
Yeah.
to have Aya Breas on it. Breakowski is gone. And what we have now is
My clothes are getting all ripped off.
like straight up
It's the worst, dude. So, let me take you back in time to being a Square fan or Square Enix, whatever. This was a disaster.
10 years after 2.
Made people very upset. This was what made people afeared of Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah.
And the descriptions of I love lightning
Yeah.
because this is Toriyama over at Square.
Went to look at the credits on this shit, and it was absolutely the new age FF team running
Final
the whole
Fantasy 13
running
game.
the whole show.
And it's like, no. It's just like when you take... You remember that kerfuffle with Tomb Raider? Where some jackass getting interviewed was like, we made it so that you really want to protect Lara. And that came off like kind of creepy. But like, I kind of get it, I guess. That whole era of Square was just like, we want you to love the woman like she is a person.
Yes.
And she will marry you.
Yeah.
And oh no, her clothes fell off.
So the vibe that it gives off is
I married
very,
her.
Yeah, it's very much like we want you to play the character and do the video gaming, but it shouldn't feel like you're playing her as much as you're protecting her with her own hands.
Yes.
You're
the guiding invisible spirit protecting her.
It feels like while she's possessing other people and jumping into soldiers' bodies and shit. It's fucking weird, dude. And boy, does it like it like
It killed that fucking franchise.
absolutely,
Dead.
absolutely. And you know, but the sad the funny and sad part is that because of its name and because it was a portable spin-off, this Dirge of Cerberus type thing could have easily just been ignored for a game that came out called Parasite Eve 3.
Yeah.
It would have been so super
It's
simple.
It's just like there is a Dino Crisis 3, but it's in fucking space, and it came out on the Xbox original. So I bet you we could just all ignore all that shit and just do a Dino Crisis. Who gives a shit?
And it feels like part of this as well, it's not too clear, but at least up to this point in playing it, might have something to do with the original author not being involved at all with this third game.
I don't believe they were involved with the second one, but they were still working off of the ideas from the first.
So with his non-involvement, there's possibly like legal ramifications for the name. They own the character.
It's weird because Parasite Eve was made by the same people who made Final Fantasy VII. Same director, like Nomura's on that cast. Sakaguchi's on that cast.
He designed boyfriend FF reject Kyle Madigan.
Parasite Eve 2 was originally not supposed to star Aya Brea. It was supposed to be Kyle Madigan's story, which he then got repurposed into the side character role.
He looks like such a fucking FF pro tag.
Yeah, because he's designed by Tetsuya Nomura.
Yeah.
No, wait, he's designed by a different guy, and then they brought in Tetsuya Nomura later.
Well, he got credit
Everything
for
I
it.
get wrong, just go check out Sphere Hunter's video. But, yeah.
But the novel this is one of those things where it's like the game's source material was tied to another non-Square owned property.
It's fascinating because it's like every game gets further from the source material and involves different people making it.
I mean, Aya herself, right, versus the original novel story about Eve and the twins. And
I believe the only character that actually transfers over is Maeda. He's a character in the books.
Yeah, so it always was straying, but like at this point, it feels like they completely just went
waifu shit.
So we're gonna see where that goes, but riding alongside Min on that as
does he really like that game?
Yeah, it was his favorite, and like he's got his reasons, and
how you're supposed to say no judgments here. Big judgments.
We talk about all of that. Judgment. You know, in particular, the gameplay, the genre shift into again a game that feels like it was skinned to become this after it was originally just a soldier siphon filter type thing. It feels very, very clear, but like he likes the behind the shoulder more run and gun action thing. A lot of the spells are gone. You don't have any casting anymore. You just have these procs.
Yeah.
You know, which are and just combat modifiers.
Sounds great.
As opposed to like actual like FF style spells that were kind of cool.
Man, it fucking bums me out because Parasite Eve and Vagrant Story are the only two games I'm aware of that use that battle system at all, and that battle system kicks ass. Well, you hit the button and the grid, the sphere comes up.
Back then,
it's the shit.
Not anymore. You would probably like Hybrid Heaven, but I don't know for sure.
I've heard of it, but I'm not super
Hybrid Heaven is a game where when you get into combat in 3D, almost like a chessboard of like squares appear.
Yeah.
And you can step onto each of them, and you can walk, step away, step forward, whatever. And you can basically initiate moves within a certain range of squares.
Okay.
And then once you're within a certain range of squares, you can...
Sounds like a strategy RPG.
But it's not turn-based, right?
Oh, whoa. Okay.
It's active.
That's odd.
And then you pause in the moment that you're going to do a move, and then select your grab.
That's very odd.
Your group, yeah. So you're in within grab range, and you go to pick grab, and then you take an attempt, and you pick what you want from the list.
Huh.
Yeah. It's quite wild, but I really enjoyed what they had going on, and like there's even a multiplayer setup for it, so it's pretty interesting. But yeah, this just kind of goes full on run and gun, and there's definitely something. I mean, of all the things lost in the third birthday, one of the ones that you don't really, it's not at the forefront of your mind, but the feeling of running into a hallway in 1 or 2 and you're like, fuck, there's these 2 big shitty monsters right there. And I know they're there. They're going to take a lot of ammo to deal with. But once they're dealt with, they're gone.
Yeah.
And the color on the map changes. And I can now
like, thumbs up.
use this room at my leisure. And you were afraid to run into them. And then you'd run back sometimes. And then the camera would be like, uh-oh, now it's a tighter shot. It's scarier because I'm at Aya's back. Now you're in a room and just monsters are spawning out of the air. Out of a portal.
Oh.
And just attacking you
Portal
until the whatchamacallit, the not phase, the wave is done, you know? Basically. And it's like
That's
wave
exciting.
of and then they drop down, you shoot a bunch, and then they drop dead and disappear. And you're like, well, I don't care about these monsters. Not that I cared about like the other monsters.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, right? In Parasite Eve 1, you watch the rat fucking morph and pop and turn into this big gross thing, and then you were dealing with those gross things later on, and then like almost each of these things would have like an introduction and then a placement as a hurdle in an area on the map that you needed to deal with.
They were given special consideration and significance.
We've encountered maybe 5 or 6 types of monsters, and I can barely tell what their patterns are or what they do or what they look like.
Are they evil?
Well, some of them have legs and they jump at you, and other ones float and shoot at you. And then there's others that do both.
This sounds so good.
And you're just fucking shooting them, and it doesn't even matter what they do, you know? And the bosses are more involved, certainly, but it just genericizes fucking everything, dude. And then this whole soldier body switch thing, I don't know what's going on with it. This is wild.
Mitochondria.
This is wild, and holy shit, do I feel bad for people that were waiting as long as they did to hear about this, to get this, and then effectively, like, to hear as well that it was originally a mobile-only game that they decided to up-port to Vita.
This was
PSP.
supposed to be like a before Crisis.
That shit's crazy. Like, you can see and feel the simplicity of the gameplay now, like after the fact, but like thinking that this would be an acceptable direction to go in for people that liked those first 2 is just that's really upsetting.
I remember writing the game off when I heard about the fucking battle damage mechanic. It's like a primary mechanic. And was like you
spend BP to heal your clothes or to buy new upgrades and for your experience and your casts, and like so far there's no advantage or there's nothing you gain from healing your battle damage. It doesn't do anything.
Well, I guess you just gotta get all torn up then. Huh?
You just end up you just stare at ass cheeks.
I guess you just gotta do it.
You know, and
it's the most optimum way to play the game.
It is wild that you can walk into a shower from minute 1, but there's not yet been a shower cutscene. There's just been a shower on and ready to go, and we know where it is.
They're saving it,
but it has not gone down yet. And everyone has voice acting now, and they're talking and doing what they can. And Aya is a Pokemon that speaks in Hime grunts, in damsel.
Are you serious?
Barks.
Aya is such a great character in PE1. I feel like back in the LP, I even said exactly as much. And she's on this date with this loser, right? And everyone bursts into flames, and she pulls her piece, and the guy starts going nuts, and she yells at him, "Get the fuck out of here!" And she fucking shoulder checks him out of his chair without putting her gun down. In like the evening gown dress. It's like, that's the character. Done.
She's a cop. It's really simple. And
she can class it up, but she'll still pull her piece.
And it keeps coming back to that in each of these moments. Like, and like, it's not like I started. I'll just spoil that. Like, I start a counter at some point.
Oh no!
I start a fucking like an counter, and the numbers rarely stay single digit in each cutscene, and to the point where it's like lying in a bed and getting out of bed requires an. And you're just like,
don't you want to protect that shit? Don't you want to Mamoru it?
This is the fucking cop on the force that was, well, and maybe in our own headcanon, talking shit with peers and all the people down at the station.
She was slightly more hesitant and vulnerable than the character we created.
Admittedly, right?
But she still fought a flying monster demon on a fucking horse carriage with on fire horses in Central Park. That happened.
She was still buddy copping.
So, you know, when I look back, she's kind of like
with Murtaugh.
Samus, honestly.
Basically,
the way that like her real Sam, whatever.
Sure.
Like,
but she's also NYPD.
it's cool and confident.
Like, at the end of the day, Samus is Samus, but what if Samus joined the NYPD?
Yeah.
There would be a layer of, hey, fuck you, buddy! Get on the fucking ground that you just can't shake. That's a layer that's in there, no matter how much of a fucking Hime you want. And, maybe there's a better word for it.
There's a lot of Mamoru needing Himes out in the NYPD. So then you have to go, okay, well, I guess the experiences of the character went through changed them.
Well, that's the other bit. And then I'm like, yeah, really? We're fucking going to Daenerys Targaryen on me right now? Like, we're seriously going into that level of assassination? Okay.
But in reverse.
Sure. And then my like full-on M. Night Shyamalan twist theories start coming out about where this is going and what we're actually looking at, of which I have a couple. But regardless,
Tell me right now,
I feel bad for the people that cared.
It sucked real
because
bad.
I don't actually care that much.
So I played that Parasite Eve 1 on release, like within a week of it coming out, an instant classic. It's one of my favorite games ever, right? P2, I played it, didn't really care for it because it's very different, right? But like hearing, hey, they're making a new Parasite Eve game, it's gonna be a PSP game, yeah, and then just like, it wasn't so much that the game was the way it was that I got to look at it. It's like, well, that one game sure is good because this shit is dead now. It is dead as hell, and we're never gonna get another one ever.
See, I'm
talking about a PSP game right now.
I know, but I don't think that's the case in the sense that you can never. It's not that it's likely. It's just that it's not impossible that someone would come along years later and go, hey, that third game sucked. We can do better. Let's go back to it and DMC5 it and just make a new entry. Talk to the guy who wrote the original books. Get a new series. Like, and that's the kind of story. The way that the way those games were put together were like, the story is wacky and old, but also aiming really high.
That first one is aiming for some high concept sci-fi.
And it ends up kind of stumbling around a bunch.
Well, a lot of that's because the translation at the time at Square was not the best.
But in the current day, in the modern era, we could probably do that story a lot of justice.
The modern era is ready for mitochondria because it is the powerhouse of the cell.
Yeah, and I think like modern science as well as a massive background element to everything about like this cop story would be a really interesting thing to see today. And you don't even have to like, I feel like Square would be uncomfortable with going back to that genre. So they would want it to be like on that new FF15, FF7 remake thing, action-y thing. And they'd want it to be that because that's the modern game. And you know what? Sure. Right? That could be fine as well. Like, the switch of the camera is not the problem. It really could just be a lot of that. But, like, I feel like Parasite Eve 3 could be done justice.
I honestly, at this point, all I want is a PC port of the original game. Because have you seen the magic people did with the fan-made Final Fantasy VII remaster? Have you seen this fucking thing?
No.
You know that AI shit that people throw textures into and good textures come back out?
Yeah.
They did that to all of FF7. And when you run it in the PC version and you have, the resolution high so the models look good, it is a HD remaster.
Yeah, but the backgrounds are still hard renders.
No, Wooly, they're throwing the pre-rendered backgrounds into the AI machine and getting 4K quality versions of those scenes.
Oh, the backgrounds
all the way across the board,
and not the shitty SNK ones.
No, they look fucking great.
Okay,
they look like the renders.
And the 3D itself.
The 3D, well, that gets cleaned up naturally by just cranking the resolution up.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like
I've seen model replacement.
The model
mods.
replacement stuff's really goofy because then you have realistic sized Cloud and Barrett and Popeye everyone else.
Well, what was actually interesting, one of the earliest mods I remember was Battle Cloud on the Overworld.
Yeah.
Which was like,
it's a much higher quality model, obviously, but
the rest of the world
rest of the world
doesn't
still
fucking
pop by
yeah,
freakazoids.
exactly.
Yeah,
So it
it's
doesn't
like,
work. Yeah. So,
Yeah, just do that. Just use that AI shit. Give me good pre-rendered backgrounds, and I'll be happy.
yeah, but at the same time, why so much noise is made about Parasite Eve now?
Because
it's just one of those. It's like Dino Crisis, as you say. It's just one of those like
one of those classics from back in the day.
Relic of the past. And you know what? You might get her appearing somewhere in a compilation game.
Yeah.
She might show up for fun in Theater Rhythm or Dissidia.
Dude, I knew you were gonna say the word Dissidia, and they keep adding really cool shit to that Dissidia NT game. There's only one problem. That game's fucking terrible. It is awful.
Yeah.
And they keep adding these cool costumes and oh wow, it's fucking awful.
Yeah, it's the there's a new feeling of sadness when the celebration game of the thing you love is actually just not a very good game.
You see All Might and Jump Force? He looks great.
Yeah.
But he's in fucking Jump Force.
JoJo, we've been through it.
Oh man,
You know,
we went through it twice.
3 times technically.
Really? Was it third time? Oh, the Seventh Stand user for you, or
No. I mean the take, the retake, and then the sequel.
I still think the best one's fucking Fight for the Future.
Heritage for the Future.
Heritage for the Future.
Yep.
Fight for the Future. Street Fighter.
Capcom.
Yeah.
This is a good fighting game.
Yeah, it's a good fighting game.
Yep.
Except when people pick Pet Shop.
Yep. It's just if you could just get CyberConnect to be
Good.
visual people,
Yeah.
and then get another company
To do everything else. Yeah. Like literally every single other part of it.
Are there other celebration games that are filled with content that are just otherwise disappointing, but you're so happy to see stuff, period? I mean, I'm sure like one of those Kamen Rider games that has like fucking everyone from all eras.
Well, they're
in it.
Musos, so Musos vary wildly in quality. You have Hyrule Warriors on one end, and you have like Berserk on the other.
Does make me sad that some of those funner picks in MVCI are probably never coming back, like Monster Hunter, who's like,
God, just do Capcom Versus. If they do Capcom Versus, everyone can come back.
Monster Hunter in MVCI like had an effect on me.
Yeah.
Like that's one of those characters that I'm gonna think about down the line.
Yeah.
When I'm not thinking about anything else.
One time, this one character existed in this one thing.
So uniquely fun in
Yeah.
everything about how she played that I'm just gonna miss. I'm gonna sorely miss everything about that. Yeah, MVCI is a good example of that for sure. Hyrule Warriors.
Hyrule Warriors is a good game.
No. Yeah, the Hyrule Warriors gameplay wasn't bad in a way where I was like, oh, this is a shame. I just got bored of it.
Yeah, because there's too much.
You know, or that. But I also suspect I'd be the kind of person that would get bored with most Musos.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't play them. But there we are. Anyway, so that's fucking happy birthdays going on with me and Min. Also, I continued going through Sekiro, and I'm definitely taking my time at that because I'm doing it at stream pace.
Yeah.
You know, so
it's a weird
bursts of 5 or so hours at a time.
Where you at? What's the last thing you iced?
So, I mean, we're branching, but I'm at the Mibu Village
Got
on
it. That's
one
a good
end.
place.
I'm at the monks
Yeah.
on the mountainside.
Senpo, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going that way. And then I want to say that like the last thing I beat was a bridge Nightman.
That is one of the best encounters in
That
the
was
game.
fucking incredible. So I had the lowest low into the highest high.
Yeah.
Because do you remember what's right next to that, dude? You got a little shortcut that leads you into the cave with the first headless.
Yeah.
And I never actually took the shot because I was like, I don't want to do my consumables, right? At the time, I had 7. I had 7 papers, and then I had enough money to go back and buy the anti-terror flask.
Yeah.
So I'm like, great, that's
That's vital.
yeah. So I have a spawning. I have a refilling flask for anti-terror. So that's fine. Now it just comes down to how much fucking paper I've got. Well, you need about 2 papers per honest shot.
Yeah.
And basically, after failing,
hard
the attempts
the first couple times,
then I went back in and fought and tried to learn it with with no spending no paper,
which like come on.
Which I did, and it was like okay. And then eventually, Min was like, "Yeah, man, I think you're ready." It would have been dead by now. I'm like, cool. Use the paper. Totally fucking died.
Yeah.
And that was the end of that.
It is the shittiest mechanic. It is so awful.
Yep. And I basically like I have no problem saying that like not only did I get salted in that, but it was not salt at losing to the hard boss because you play a fucking hard game.
No, it's salt that you can't attempt the hard boss.
I am not allowed to learn. You're punishing me for learning. I got so mad at that stupid aspect of what is now the worst part of this game to me. I don't even care I don't care for the reward. I don't care about the headless. That entire part of the game can go fuck off.
On that game.
It can go fuck off forever. I don't even give a shit. And if at some point later on I'm going to be able to farm for those items, maybe I'll feel better and go do it. But at this point, it's a stain, you know? And the stain of like the spirit of the game being hard is based on the idea. I mean, I don't know.
That you can do it.
It's not even that you can do it. It's that like you can cower it out from certain things and be like, it's just too hard. I'm too scared or whatever. But if you have the attitude of like, I'm going to attempt the challenge, and no matter how much it's kicking your ass, you will eventually persevere if you try and try and try again.
Keep reattempting the challenge.
Yeah, well, this thing means you're not allowed to retry the challenge.
It's absolutely terrible.
It means no, you just be perfect. You do it like whatever the stupid idea behind it is.
On replay, it's no problem, but like, who cares on replay?
Yeah. It's easily the worst part of the game so far, and I got so mad at that.
I had no idea what the fuck they were thinking because like they have had that type of encounter in every single one of their games like this, and none of them act this way.
And I remember like and of course the advice comes in and says just do this, just jump less, I'm like just do a lot of things that I want to try to learn to then master and then crush it.
What I ended up doing is getting all the way to the end of the game.
Skate.
And then getting the fucking the ability to buy the confetti. Yeah. And then like I'm talking like 95th percentile through the game, and went back and just iced all of them in like 2 seconds because I could now because my stats were higher. Yeah. And I got a bunch of shitty rewards that didn't mean fuck. Yeah. It's like, oh, awesome! What a fantastic experience.
Yeah. I don't even care. It has like taken me out on a mechanical level, and I'm able to just progress and not give a fuck about any of those challenges. So I was real vexed at the game at that point, and then was like, fuck this, I'm crossing the bridge.
And then you got that fight.
And then I got one of the best fucking boss fights I've encountered so far.
It's great.
And I did it in one.
Yep.
And I got lucky on my positioning that the second time I downed him, he was right by the edge.
I got the exact same. I think I got him in one and was like, why is everybody going nuts? And it's like, oh, because like I didn't even understand that he doesn't get killed by the thing.
Same.
I just had to knock him right the fuck off.
Yeah, no, so I downed him. He got back up, and I was like, oh, I guess he has 2 points, right? Yeah. I didn't see them, but I guess they're there.
Yeah.
And then I knocked him off the second time, and it was like, yeah, actually, he just keeps getting back up. You know,
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I fought him the second time on New Game Plus, I actually had a much harder time because I just didn't put him in the right spot.
Right. And satisfyingly, it was also one of those fights that I spent all of my I used all my prosthetics on him. Yeah. So like I switched from his own firecrackers or his son's firecrackers, Roberto, to the Sabimaru. Yeah. To the shuriken, you know, like, and like got a nice, and I'm like, God damn it, why do you build me up, Buttercup, just to let me down?
Yeah, well.
You know, coming off the lowest low to the fucking highest high. And it really was just a weird moment of like, I feel like I just experienced literally the lowest thing in the game.
The worst by far.
To what has been a peak.
Like the whole game is like a 7 at worst at most part, usually a 8 or 9. And like, I would say the certain boss fights are 10s. Like, have you fought the ape yet?
No.
He's a 10. The final boss sequence is a 10. Genichiro, the mid boss, is a 10, right? The fucking headless is like a 1. It's It's objectively awful. It makes you feel bad, makes you feel stupid. It frustrates you, and the rewards suck, by the way. The rewards are not good either. So there's one later on the game where you have to fight 2 underwater.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, chat spoilers. Fantastic. Well, anyway.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah. It's something I assumed or was hoping would be the case, and yeah. Fuck. Damn it.
Stop it, guys. You guys are bad.
That sucks. Well, anyway. So yeah.
That's what you get for not beating games the day they come out.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the story is garbage.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even matter.
Do you know what I meant now when I said, hey, everyone's been asking for a From Software story told more clearly, and now we got one, and it shows off, no, go back to being vague.
Yeah.
Go back to being vague and mysterious.
Yeah.
Because who cares?
No, Pat's saying that Pat spoiled it. No, I knew about the monkey. The monkey's in one of the trailers.
You see the trailer?
I'm aware of the monkey. I know
Yeah,
about
you
that.
dumbasses.
That's not the spoiler. Someone else dropped something else in there saying it was an 11, and I'm just like, that wasn't necessary. But anyway, so that continues as well. And if you want to check out this footage, as well as taking a peek at Dragon Marked for Death.
What the fuck is that?
That is the new Inti Creates game done in the style of, Mega Man 0, ZX.
Oh, yeah, those are good games.
Advent.
It's so crazy to me that we're so far away from ZX Advent that is an inspiration now.
Yeah, and the
Came out
art
a long
style is
time
clear.
ago.
Yeah, and but it's multiplayer, and it's a fantasy setting, and you pick one of 4 classes, and it has a really weird way of selling itself. It has a retail where you buy the game as normal.
Yeah, so you buy to play.
You buy for $40, and it's got your whatever, your caster, your heavy, your ninja, your adventurer, whatever, and then some DLC. And then on the digital EVE shop, it has 2 versions of the game that are $20 each, and they have 2 characters.
Okay.
And then you buy the DLC for the other 2. And so it seems like what their goal was to have the shelf version sit next to other games of an equal price.
Yeah.
And then have the eShop be sitting next to games of an equal price.
Smart.
Yeah. It's weird, but I get it.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
I get it. I'd love to see and find out if that works or not. Where it's like something's price is based on what's next to it.
Well, I mean, that's the reality in a lot of places. That's why I race to the bottom in the mobile market.
I mean, the idea of there being like a $20 game that you buy off the shelf and then you take it home and then there's $20 DLC. It's like I can imagine a lot of people just being like, fuck that.
What the fuck?
But then you're also going to have to pick which 2 of these for 2 characters. You know what I mean? It's going to be too expensive to print out these 2 versions. And
and some people might get lucky and they only care about 2 characters. Or 1 even.
So took a look at that, and a little bit repetitive, unfortunately. Not super duper, like, nothing super fresh in terms of just the platforming and the way you take out enemies as a group. There's some fun co-op stuff that you do together, but it seems pretty basic. And I think it would be a lot cooler if the promise of the way the later ZX games feel, like the Mega Man 0 games, the way you feel at the end where you have a lot of different weapons, a lot of things you can do. If you have your characters able to do the same thing in these games, then it's going to be fucking sick. But early game felt pretty like, okay. But yeah, that's it. And a little bit of MK11 just to warm myself up on.
Just to wet the palate.
Yep. But that's about it. I mean, it's a big fighting game weekend. Combo Breaker went down.
Yeah.
And there's some fun stuff happening. But yeah, if you want to check out the 3rd birthday, complete with a super awkward, woolly intro that makes people feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, it does.
You can head on over to Woolly Versus on Twitch or on YouTube. And you can also check out, of course, the Sekiro stream that I'm doing and get into fighting games, which I want to confirm. No, I want to wait till I confirm it, but tomorrow we should have a pretty cool episode with a pretty fun guest that's going to be Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to. Whatever. Something good should be happening tomorrow.
We gotta polish off Resident Evil 2 as well.
Yep.
You're like an hour and a half from the end.
Yeah.
Tops.
Yeah. We'll schedule that after this. See what we can do it. Fortunately, after replaying that back up to where I did last time, I still feel warmed.
Well, I mean, the difference in time right now is enormous. It was months in between those two bits.
Yep. So that's definitely going to go down as well. And then the first week of June is going to be really fun. You're going to see some wild content,
Some wipeouts.
some big battles going down. Big rivals are going to be confronted. On the week of the 1st. I'm just gonna tease that for now.
Yeah, I have my own idea for something similar.
Yeah.
Settle some things.
Oh yeah. Yeah. cliff top battles.
Yeah.
Cliff top battles are going down.
We should talk about that after the stream. See what we're gonna do.
Yeah. Pointing at the WrestleMania stand right now. But that's over on Wooly Versus. So take a peep. Take a click, maybe even sub. Or don't. But
Just
also,
watch the video.
Yeah.
The whole video.
And
Don't click away halfway.
and I'll also take the moment to pimp some upcoming traveling because
Like the concept of travel?
well, I mean, the concept of travel is pretty fun. But
Yeah, do it. It
the
expands your
destination,
horizons.
the destination. So, the first weekend of June, or second, I should say, the June 7th, 8th, and 9th, I'm
That's
going
the first
to be.
weekend?
No, the first weekend is actually the first.
Ah, okay.
So that's why I'm saying it's
Yeah.
technically the second. It's a 5-weekend month. It's one of those weird 5-weekend months.
It's
You don't
weird.
get
I
them
don't like
often.
it.
June 7th, 8th, and 9th, I'm going to be down at not Combo Breaker, at Combo Con.
Combo Con
Out in Michigan. And I'm going to be down there with Lil V Mills and Kira Buckland. And HD Max is putting on a good show as usual. Can't wait to come on down, have some fun. There's some events being planned that are going to be a good time. He definitely knows how to put on a good show. And yeah, if you are in that area and you want to come chill, I will be around for that whole weekend. Then I want to say there is... I'm not going to announce that yet. That's still pending.
There's obviously RTX in the first week of July.
RTX, we've got July 6th and 7th. 5th, 6th, and 7th. Yeah, in early July, exactly. Where we're going to be doing a Castle Super Beast panel.
You want to just fucking wing it?
Yeah. Just record just do a live episode.
Yeah, just fucking wing it.
Just do a live episode. That's it.
Hey, fuckers.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
You showed up. Punked you.
Eat shit.
Yeah.
I don't think we have enough time for a live episode. I don't think they're going to give us a 5-hour block.
Yeah.
But
we tend to be slightly long-winded.
yeah. But that is going down in the Texas. So if you want to come to the Rooster Teeth, you can come see us.
I should get a big hat.
Oh, like a 10-gallon drum?
I usually look like a jackass. I bet I'd look like a big, stupid fucking jackass walking around Austin with like a big old cowboy hat.
Oh, man. I mean, yeah, but you also know, because you basically just turn into Gideon from fucking Gravity Falls.
I don't remember who the fuck that is.
The villain, the little kid villain, with the
nah, shit's gone. Memory deleted.
He was obsessed with Mabel.
Got it.
Chubby kid
With the drawl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Now y'all can see here, right? And he's got the giant fucking cowboy hat.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you can get a cowboy hat that's the size of you.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
And it would probably work.
I'm a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
And I could do the black guy cowboy hat thing.
That's fine.
It now it is. And we'll
be
figure
doing
it
some
out.
Blazing Saddles bits on the stage.
Jesus Christ. All right, stirrups and spurs and fucking leather coats and bandanas hanging off the sides and where the white women at.
Yeah.
All of it. All of it. lasso. I don't know how to hog tie people. You heard that clip? No? No, that's a good one. R. Kelly. Freaking out, losing his mind.
I've seen
You're
bits.
killing me with this shit.
I seen that.
I'm fighting for my life right now.
Why are you fighting for your life, R. Kelly?
I don't know how to hog tie people.
What are you talking about, R. Kelly? R. Kelly, why are you so upset?
Because he's been accused of hog tying people.
Yeah, well.
So, yeah. So that's going down. And then there is Con Bravo, July 26, 27, 28. Going to be hanging out with some friends there.
It's con season.
Con season. Of course, Evo's coming up. I'm going to be attending. That's the August 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
You hear that, everyone? Wooly is going to win Evo this year.
I'm going to be sitting in the chair of a player, but if things go well, maybe more.
Oh, hey. That'd be cool.
Maybe more. Attempts are being made. We'll see what happens.
You make those attempts.
Yeah. I'm applying for a job, y'all.
Yeah, that's good.
Trying to get some work, man.
Yeah, man.
It's been pretty rough.
Do they even pay those people?
No.
Okay. It's an honor job.
Exposure bucks.
Exposure bucks.
FGC love dollars.
FGC love dollars sound like they're grimy. They're grimy dollars.
Maybe now our Kappa will accept me.
No.
No, it's okay. Hey, man. Event Hubs ran that Fighterpedia story. I appreciated it.
Yeah.
At bare minimum, it's a fun hang with Max and the boys.
Mm-hmm.
But Evo going down, and we'll see what I'm down there doing. And then after that, yeah, it's pretty much all clear, except for my eventual late summer return to glorious Nippon.
Oh, hey. Mm-hmm. We'll have to organize some podcast shenanigans then, I suppose.
I'll have to figure it out.
Because I'm not sitting in here in your house by myself.
No, that's not okay.
I'm not going to do that.
But the return happens. Japan Part 2. Erect chick boogaroo.
Why did you do this?
I didn't want to do it.
Why? You didn't want to do it?
It just happened.
You shut up.
Okay, news.
Shut up, you ass. I didn't want to say it. It just came out of my mouth. I had a heated gamer moment.
Hey, you know what's
Boop nose.
what's better than not?
Mm-hmm.
What's better than not news? Fake news?
What's better than fake news?
Announcement countdowns to the announcements.
More Death Stranding on Wednesday.
The announcement has been made that we will find out more about Death Stranding in an announcement.
I gotta say though,
on May 29th.
I is the tagline not count the rope?
Yeah.
That made me giggle like a dumb bitch when I read that.
Was it count the rope or was it pull the rope, cut the rope?
What is it?
Something the rope.
Cut the rope. Create rope.
Create the rope. Create the rope.
Create the rope.
Create the rope.
It's stupid sounding. It sounds like they're talking about wieners.
You have to create the rope before you push it. Anyway, the trailer, the little video they showed nothing.
Yeah.
It was a hand.
Hopefully we see a something on May 29th.
I recently had a conversation about this with somebody
About
somewhere.
cutting ropes?
No, not that one.
Yeah.
This was something else where I forget the nature of it, but it was basically just that, like, you want to talk about being afeared. Getting afeared.
Really?
A little bit. There's a possibility that the cutscenes in this game will be the most brilliant, high-concept things ever. There's a possibility that the actual game will offer no explanations to all the things we've been wondering about. And there's an actual possibility that the backpacking across empty landscapes gameplay
Is like the whole game.
will not be very fun.
Well, there's two ways I can look at this. One is the way that I would usually say is like, it is somewhat worrying at how little of the game they have shown off for so long. Usually, that's a kind of a danger sign, right? It's like, well, what is it? You know when a game comes out and the first question people have is, but what do you do?
Yeah.
That's not good, right?
Yeah.
On the other hand, I look at this and I go, this is a somewhat unique situation where Kojima Productions has been given carte blanche to use as much money as they want and appear to have no responsibilities to the game whatsoever in its marketing or production.
Well, maybe carte blanche was really just Andrew House's personal credit card.
Mm-hmm. But what I mean is that maybe this is how Kojima would have wanted to fucking sell games if Konami wasn't like, make a fucking E3 trailer. You know?
Yeah. Could be. I don't want this to be...
I'm firmly neutral, which is not where I want to be with a new Kojima game. I want to be hype. I want to be walking down the street with you from Burger Joint, arguing for like 3 hours about whether or not Liquid Snake's ghost arm is going to figure into the boss's backstory based on the trailer.
Yeah. The thing, and I'm remembering the announcement hype was as high as it could get.
Yeah.
Because it was like, he got kicked out, he got his own new studio
I'm
coming.
going to do this weird shit.
Ludens was a badass from day one.
Yeah.
Right? And then finally when they revealed those trailers, they were wildly exciting because of how fucking crazy they were.
They're so weird. They're so interesting.
But they're cool. Visual, cool, and weird. And you're like, yes, but that only goes so far.
Yeah.
And at some point you're like, okay, but what's the video game though?
How do I shoot the gun?
And now we have these like, there might be no gun.
No, they're gonna be gun though.
There might be no gun.
They're gonna be gun.
There might be no.
You know they're gonna be gun.
There might be nothing.
They're gonna be gun though.
I mean, like at some
Mads
point,
Mikkelsen had a gun.
Well, think about the complexity of Phantom Pain.
What if
right?
the baby was the gun?
Think about the complexity of Phantom Pain, where how much of that development was Kojima kind of creating this insane experience where Big Boss was standing in a desert doing anything he wanted to do.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? And then I almost feel like that was the majority of it.
Yeah,
And
probably.
then at some point they went, okay, now let's start putting a few buildings and people around and kind of spread them out here.
Very
and there.
much, yeah.
You know? And that's not what
those areas are empty.
And that's not what Kojima's strong points are. So Death Stranding already not being a like narrative experience,
Maybe you know what?
is really already worrying because I'm like, Kojima's strengths are
Just
super.
wait till Wednesday, bro. You'll know. You'll probably know one way or the other.
Like, if there's anybody who I want to make Crash Bandicoot fucking hallway FF13 games, it's this guy.
Yeah, you're right.
We want him doing those types of games more than
want
anybody.
A cutscene hallway, and then a boss fight, and then a cutscene hallway about Muff.
I'd never say that about any other fucking director, but for him, 100%. 100% that. We don't know yet, though. We do not know yet.
I want another...
This is all just worry.
I want a character to talk about memes in that game, and for a different character to tell them, shut up about the memes already.
Basically.
And then I go, aha, it's the thing with the memes.
Yeah. So, that's what we're going to find out in 2 days' time.
Speaking of, actually, a bit of a side tangent, a lot of MGS2's dialogue is now fucking hilarious, by the way. Like, when it came out, meme had not fully reached dumb image macro level like knowledge
descriptor.
It was closer to its original actual word of it's the cultural equivalent of a gene. But now when you go back and like remember how funny it was in Revengeance when Monsoon tells you that memes are the DNA of the soul,
right?
And that was like the funniest thing in the fucking world.
And now it's just
MGS2 is like nonsense
ruined.
now. Because it's like, lolcat is the fucking spirit that we pass on to the young.
Yeah. Like a game where the key word gets repeated literally hundreds of times in the script.
And the word now means jokes.
Like, yeah. If mitochondria became slang for
some kind of butt thing.
some kind of weird butt play. Yeah, then
Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
then
I'm
the
sorry.
games would be ruined effectively, retroactively. So anyway,
Memes, Jack.
I'm really I remain cautiously optimistic, but I hate announcements to the announcements.
It's the worst.
You know what I do like?
What do you like,
The
Willard?
complete opposite of this.
Yeah, which is it's out.
At the very least, yo, we're in alpha. Here's a key. Go try it.
There are so many keys for Nioh 2 going around. I had like 10 different people go, I'm not going to use my key. You want it? So I got a key.
Yeah. Same.
Guess what?
It's Nioh.
It's more Nioh.
It's Nioh.
You can turn into a demon now.
So
This is a fucking sequel.
this is in the truest sense of the word. But because they worked so hard on the last game,
If they jump off from where the last game ended, that's a pretty good start.
well, what I was gonna say is if you ended up stopping Nioh early on in its life cycle last time, you're gonna see a whole bunch of quality of life improvements that you missed out on because they kept making this fucking
I keep
game.
wanting to go back to Nioh. I just need to figure out the stat and armor stuff is so complex, and I don't want it to be there. You know?
I love it because it allows glamour.
No, the glamour shit is great. Like, I was just talking to fucking Eogard, where like they're not even at level cap, but the favorite thing they do in 14 is fucking glam their doll, right? Dressing your dolls up in your video game is for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It's where Warframe makes like almost all of its fucking money. is making your doll pretty, and extending that feature to more games is paramount. I just mean the stats on the gear. There's a lot, like even for a guy like me, there's a lot of fucking weird stats, and the stats that you do have don't follow like the what I would call, I guess, the D&D classics, which is strength, dex, etc. They're weird amalgams, and it's unclear if I want the.
So you pick up like this weird sword that's terrible in every way, but it's got amazing luck, like purple luck, and you're like, do I
Is this good?
hold on to this?
I don't know.
Yeah. Nioh continues to be like no, even if I'm not giving it the time of day, I will admire it from afar.
Yeah,
forever.
I go back and bounce off that game like once every 3 or 4 months.
Because it's doing the most combat-wise.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
of all the Souls-likes, it's the one that is doing, like, it gives you multiple buttons and stances.
I will say that as a product, Nioh 1 is probably a much better game than Sekiro.
I have no problem with that sentence.
Way more shit in there.
I have no problem.
That is good and impressive.
Oh yeah, no. Team Ninja did a better Samurai Souls than FromSoft did.
Absolutely.
That's
which I thought is hilarious compared to how I looked at
I'm
them.
not done yet.
Yeah, but
right? Opinion pending.
Yeah.
But I feel like so far, just on a combat level, I definitely feel that.
There's way more to it.
Yeah, Sekiro, you know, like, because in this genre of game, like, you don't actually need more than, like, you don't need more than one, like, sword swing button.
Yeah.
In many cases, and a lot of games don't bother giving you that.
Yeah.
Right. The combat doesn't need to get complex because damage and difficulty
or
and learning the
weapons
variety will be enough. But this going over and above and creating weapon variety and stance variety,
like
and ability trees for each weapon.
The thing is for this, right, is that
is
like,
wild.
I remember they would add, it came out with like 5 weapons total. I think they're up to 7. And it's just like, oh, we added 1 weapon. I'm like, oh, that's pretty lame. And then I get a hold of it. I'm like, oh, every weapon is actually 3 weapons. And every one of those 3 stances has a complicated moveset that has its own skill tree. Wow. And you compare that to Sekiro, which has 1 weapon with 1 moveset. Like, you remember when we were talking about Sekiro, our number 1 complaint is that you get all these moves, but you can't actually use them?
Yeah, it's
Nioh is the opposite. You're fucking drowning in a moveset.
Sekiro, you get prosthetics in Sekiro, and prosthetics are basically Mega Man upgrades.
Yeah.
You're not running through a stage with fucking Gust using it as your main thing the whole time
you'll
through.
use it for this bad
you pull it out
room
and then you
or
pull it
this
out and then you put it
boss.
away. Yeah, you know. Nioh, yeah, you're absolutely surrounded and overwhelmed in like how you want it, what style you want to use, and then you have the branches with each one. You have the specific move upgrades, and then you get the one thing I will say is that like Sekiro does a really fun thing by having parry button and
the
posture.
parry button's fucking nuts.
Parry and posture are wild and really, really fun.
But the problem with me anyway is that's the game's like big trick. And then when you beat the game, when you beat all the bosses and you've beaten the game, that trick is done because you just know, right?
And I mean in terms of like and there's so much more going on with like how much Nioh gives you and how much you can do.
Yeah.
And then the multiplayer aspects and whatnot as well. Like,
man, so one of the things about the Nioh 2 Alpha that really shocked me was that I did not know that you were going to be a creative character, right? And you can be a guy or a lady now, which is a feature they added in Nioh 2. In Nioh Original.
at the end.
But the craziest thing, and it made me say something kind of stupid on Discord, but I clicked the fourth character creator. It's like, oh my god, there's a real black guy as a character selector in this.
Right.
And my friends on Discord went, what the fuck? What? Because they weren't playing. I'm like, no, in Japanese games, even from soft games, where you were the one who taught me about this, where the only way to get a darker skin tone is just drag it down to like a negative value, and then you get like a fucking weird charcoal monster.
Purple.
Because they don't give a shit about the way skin tones work.
Yeah.
It's like they put work into that. Those characters actually look really fantastic.
And you get an animal buddy. And you can switch them up.
Yeah.
Though they don't actually stay out as buddies. They just kind of possess you.
There's kind of spirits.
Yeah. I'm really, between this and Third Birthday, though, I gotta say, like, I'm, like...
What is the link between this and Third Birthday?
Third Birthday has Liberation.
Uh-huh.
Right? Remember Liberation in Parasite Eve 1 and 2?
Yeah.
It was the angel form.
Yeah.
Liberation now makes her glow a bit and do Jill-style teleport dashes.
Great.
And that's about it.
Awesome.
And I'm really just like, I have it out for games where you go like, where you pop a devil trigger,
yeah,
and it's just you, but you're glowing now.
Oh, it sucks.
I'm like, I
was done with that since Devil May Cry 4.
Yeah, I now hate it. Like,
Yeah.
if your game does that, I now hate that
No,
your
if I'm
game
gonna
does
pop
that.
a mode, make me look cool, please.
This lazy ass drop an Omni on the character's chest and call it a day method of super.
Yeah, it sucks.
Especially when you have to build a big bar up to it.
Oh, it's total ass.
Fuck off. You know, or like,
It's supposed to be a big triumphant moment for your character.
yeah, and if you're too lazy to do that, then do something where the world turns black and white, or make it creative in some way. But holy shit, man!
You know what's interesting to me about the Oni form in this is that it has the most Ninja Gaiden move in the entire game, where you hold the button for your charge attack and it absorbs the currency to boost it, just like it did back in the Ninja Gaiden games.
Cool.
It's like, listen, this game's hard. Burn this currency right now to kill these fuckers.
Yeah. No, I'm really happy that Nioh continues to be a successful thing that exists, and we're looking at like them continuing this, and it's full on like just it's doing its own Samurai Souls, you know.
Also, the way that this game series is developed is the most like forthright and positive and feel-good way I have almost ever seen a Japanese game developed, where they put out an alpha for free just to tons of people. Shit ton of people are playing this. Going, hey guys, here's what we got. Tell us what you think. And then the next time they're going to put out a demo or a beta, and it will have every suggestion that was sent to them improved. And they go, okay, what about this? Okay, what about this? Nioh had like 3 of those, and then they kept doing it for the entire length of that game's existence.
Yeah.
The whole time, every fucking 6 months, they'd be like, hey, so we added a new weapon and we added a hard difficulty that is a whole new game plus game, and you can change into a girl now, and the blacksmith can also be a girl, and here's a loot sorting option that didn't exist in the thing where you can sort the loot, and here's this. Oh, here's the expansion. It comes with this stuff and then this new type of stuff. It's like the whole, like 2 years.
The crafting menu and items and that entire thing is like the best and simplest and easiest and most understandable and clear it's ever been. Like like when you're dealing, like it really just, it feels like you can quality of life yourself from a 6 to a 9.
Yeah.
You know, if your game is best is a 6 ultimately at the core, and you it feels like with just a couple of
features, clean stuff up,
make things feel good, and put some shit on the back end.
It cannot be overstated how much polish can help a game.
It's wild. It really is. But like, yeah. I say you can go from a 6 to a fucking 9 with quality of life. And you can go from a 9 to a 6 without quality of life if you're one of those companies that is too busy doing things your way, which has been the way forever, and you refuse to learn from what others have clearly established as the way to do it.
So it's funny because the first thing that pops into my mind when you say that is fighting games. And the first thing this game's great. Why is the online so terrible? Why does only the first player get to choose whether or not we rematch or character select?
Why can't I plug in my legacy stick?
Why don't my character costume save between sessions?
Why doesn't it pause why does it pause when I tap it and not hold it?
Why does the game not pause when I unplug the fucking controller?
Why can't I tap to set my buttons?
But like,
why are there no lobbies? Why are there
shit lobbies?
Why are there no open rooms where people can meet up, Arxis style, and like create their own groups?
Why is there no good latency selection via quick search?
Why is there no story mode?
Why is there no good record feature in the training mode?
Why does the training mode not have some basic details that like would help with people trying to get better? With these moves?
Why is there no ability to put the move list on screen and have it cycle downwards as you complete every move?
You have the frame data already displaying in the debug menu. Why not let the player see it?
Why can't you just turn the visual hitboxes on for literally every fighting game ever?
Why not have an instant rematch button at the end of a versus game?
Why not? Why make you go back to character select every single time? Now imagine a game that had every feature we just described and a game that had 0 of the features we just described, but they're the same game. It makes a big fucking difference.
That's like a 4 to a 9.
Yeah. Even though the game's great. You remember that horrible period that we are just getting over now of this fighting game's great. The online's terrible, so most of its audience will never be able to enjoy it ever.
Yeah.
Right? Like, just period. And I remember Persona 4 Arena was the first one that I got to go, look at this! This game's fucking awesome! Everyone should play it, and the online's great. And it blew up.
So there's a feature that I have never seen since Metal Warriors on the Super Nintendo. And I understand that it's just for fun, so it's not something that I'm hard requesting. But god damn it, did I love the ability to do rematch?
Yeah.
Rematch with a different stage.
Yeah.
Scramble.
At the very least, it's quite rare, but there are a couple fighters I've played, and I'm sure you have too, where if you pick random select and you hit rematch,
it'll re-random.
The stage is random select.
It actually randoms the
and it's like that is the biggest fucking. If I pick random, I want a fucking random stage.
Exactly.
Guys. I don't want to fucking do the same stage over. Because then you do the things like rematch. It's like we just want to play a different stage. Then you go back to character select.
Yeah. So
what is it,
that's
like 15 seconds out of your life. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Just rematch, change stage, or random stage.
Unless you're playing Tekken 5.
And then scramble is random stage, random characters.
Yeah.
Right? Which is just, it's a wild button.
Yeah.
But if you're having a super casual time, just do that. You can just do that.
Ah, crap. I got 12.
You know? Yeah. Yeah. It really... And these are all good ideas that exist. They're out there. People,
the design implementation has been solved on any number of levels. You can just look at your competitors and look at how they did it.
And anyone who is sitting down and designing a dock or designing a from the first stages up at this point in time probably is a fan, or at the very least has a bunch of references to games that have done this before. And it just doesn't. It just comes down. It comes down to like, why would you not include all of these possibilities?
Skullgirls is a really good
unless
example.
you're just like, we have one programmer, we have 12 months.
Yeah, Skullgirls is a really good example, and for a number of reasons. But the one that I want to bring up, and yes, I know it is a technical concern. It is difficult to do, and even the Skullgirls implementation isn't perfect. But Skullgirls' rotating, always fighting lobby is the coolest online lobby. And I have never seen it anywhere else, and I doubt we'll ever see it again.
Where everybody in the lobby gets to fight.
Yeah, there's 8 people in this. Well, there should be 4 matches going on. Yeah, you'll wait a couple minutes as other people finish, and then they'll rotate around. But why should it be 6 people watching too?
Yeah.
Just have the people in the rest of the lobby
You can
fight.
turn winner stays on if you want, but everyone wants to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just, there's just an overwhelming amount. And every genre has this stuff, right? Now, we pay attention to fighting games, so we pulled fucking 20 to 30 of those off.
I could go for an
Obviously.
hour over MMO ones.
I feel like we just demonstrated, like, yeah, you pick a genre, and if you know enough about play enough of that genre.
You know what's one of the ones that's actually really wild that I never even thought of, and then I'm sure a lot of people. So in an RPG you sort your items.
Yeah.
At 14 at one point a couple patches ago added unsort.
Yeah.
Because some people keep their items in really specific grids,
and you want to put it back there.
And then you sort them, and
Great.
Oh, fucking shit.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Unsort it. Go back to how it was.
Yeah. Now, if you're someone out there that's listening to this and you're either thinking or typing in the chat, oh yeah, X game does this. Oh yeah, MVC does that. Or Guilty Gear did. Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
They should all do it. We know that these individual games do it.
And then we can move forward to new
They should all do it. 100%, you know? Quality of fucking life. Priceless, man. Nioh is a godsend in that regard. You know? And here's the other thing about it. When you know that when you invest in Nioh, right, by purchasing the video game
Nioh,
you know that months, if not a year out or two, you are going to consistently get changes and
you're talking
things.
about Nioh 2 now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, you know that buying into this no matter
will be supported.
Whatever your experience is at first, it will continue to improve as you play the game
That
more.
used to be the Valve model.
How early are we talking?
Half-Life.
Yeah. Okay.
There's going to be stuff coming out for Half-Life. There's going to be stuff coming out for Counter-Strike. There's going to be stuff coming out
in a multiplayer context.
Yeah, all sorts of contexts. But now, you know what I like? Games that you buy as a product but get treated like a service over time.
Giving you, that's the backwards economic model, though. Treating it like a service, right? So service as a game.
Yeah.
Service as a game.
There it is. There it is. Because I mean, it's not in the news, but I'm going to bring up Anthem. Do you know it's been over a month since there's been a single developer statement from Anthem?
Yeah.
That game is functionally dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oops. Right? That's a game that was sold as a service that the service no longer exists.
That's straight up something to take to the fucking
Apparently
bank,
they're going to talk about Anthem at E3, and all I can think of is a straight up complete fucking redo. Because if they don't, then no one will ever buy this type of thing from EA ever again. You have to eat this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like think of Final Fantasy if they had never done A Realm Reborn, if they had just let FF14 just die. The way it was.
If you just take a second to think about language, right?
Yeah, let's think about language.
An MMO is a service.
It is The MMO was and is the game as a service.
Therefore,
That game will fucking go away in the future.
So, in that sense, like an MMO is effectively service as a service,
Yes.
which people are fine with because you know what you're getting.
I'm going to pay my $15 a month. You're going to add shit
You're
to the game.
giving me a service as a service
You're gonna
because
run
I'm
the server.
requesting it
Yeah.
and you're giving it to me.
Thank you.
Otherwise, I want a game as a game.
Yeah, so for example, if your MMO goes down, DDoS attacks, here's 2 free weeks because those weeks were fucked up, right? Okay, great. Game does that. You're like, this shit doesn't work.
Okay.
You also
cool.
want your money back.
I bought a copy of this game. It was $50, and I'm moving to Siberia, and I'm living in a cabin. And
Goodbye.
I'm plugging in my console, and I want all my content here.
Good.
Great.
Done.
Game as a game.
No.
Bayonetta.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
So, at the very basic level, thing as the same thing
Yeah.
is what you're willing to purchase because you know what you're getting.
That's right.
The idea of swapping one for the other means you think you're getting this, but you're actually getting that.
Yeah.
And when you say something, or when I say something like service as a game, you're like, oh, wow, I thought I was just getting a game. Turns out there was a persistent improvement experience coming alongside it.
That I'm also not paying for.
Hollow Knight, thank you.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
very... No one asked you for this, but thanks, right?
People who didn't back Shovel Knight. Like, just, hey, here's more.
Yeah. I bought a burger. Turns out you gave me a trio.
I'll take that.
And you brought it...
You're making me want to go to fucking Wendy's so bad, dude. I'm
And-
going to go to that fucking Wendy's after this.
Can't stop you. And you brought it to my table.
Yeah. You didn't... isn't that weird when a fast food person brings food to your table?
It is. Some places do
I
it.
don't like it.
Some places do it to simplify the line
I
system.
want them to call me up and I'll go get it.
If they take a number, find me. That's fine. You know. But that's the thing, right? Ultimately, you expect to get what you have paid for.
Yeah.
And if you swap one for the other, and it goes down, why would people accept that?
There are some games that get to bend the rules. Warframe bends the rules. Warframe's weird. The way that money, it's weird, right? We're also in this really bizarre state, which I feel like the MMO talk is perfect because games as a service are in a really weird place, right? Destiny 1 is a pseudo game as a service, right? There was never a sub cost, but they would make expansions and stuff like that. But that game's not really supported anymore, right? Mm-hmm. Then we had all those MMOs who died. Mm-hmm. The Asheron's Call, that's dead. Matrix Online, that's dead, etc. Right? City Heroes, which is apparently very beloved,
They killed Morpheus, man.
dead. Right?
So, not as dead as you might think if you look in the right corners of the internet.
Woolly, private servers for anything.
Yeah.
And then you get really weird stuff. Like, you see how popular WoW Classic is?
You told me.
How people are going absolutely out of their mind for WoW Classic? Because that game doesn't exist anymore. But now it will. And the weird thing is because, well, WoW is fucking 14 and a half years old. So MMOs used to have a shelf life. And it was like 7 years tops. And then they would die because no one would give a shit anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
WoW and FF11 and RuneScape, they're still here.
11 has no business still being around.
11, by the way, so 11 is done. It's finished.
Yeah. I mean, it has a direct replacement.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, boy.
They're very different.
Okay.
They're very, very different.
Okay. All right. Fine. Fair.
11,
I don't know what I'm
11
talking
is
about.
is an old style MMO where do you want to walk outside of a town, you have a party, or you will die.
Yeah, I did have this conversation back in college.
Yeah, I remember.
With somebody arguing that they preferred this method.
And as the player base went down, they invented a system in which you can have AI partners fill your party up. And that game is done now. Like, you hit level 99 and everything is there, and it's not being... Like, it's still being run and bug fixed, but it's new stuff isn't coming out, right? It's been like that for like 3 years, 4 years. And it still has a respectable sub count. So, and it's getting a phone port, you know that, right?
Yeah.
So, it's the idea, like, it's so weird because you sign up for a game like this and you're like, I'm gonna enjoy my time with it, and it's just gonna go away one day.
And I'm sure Square was like, it will.
Yeah.
And then they're like, people are still paying.
But does it have to? Because it doesn't really have to.
Well, how much are we spending on servers?
This.
How much are we getting in from subs?
This.
Well, then,
We'll just keep it up.
and we don't have to
Just keep it up.
change or.
So now we're in this thing of like, if you're an MMO and you make it, right? Or a free to play game and you make it, like League or Dota, stuff like that, as long as you don't kill the game,
Yep.
you can kind of run it forever.
And
or a direct replacement comes out.
If you run it long enough that no one expects more to
Right.
happen inside of it,
Yeah.
then you're allowed to just let it float.
As long as you don't kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, they're like, WoW had the biggest mountain ever of subs. It's never going to happen again for a subscription MMO. And every expansion since Wrath, which was like 10 years ago, has knocked like a couple million people off that number. Like, it has been bleeding for years and years and years and years. And now the only thing I ever hear about World of Warcraft is how shitty World of Warcraft is and how upset people are. And every couple weeks there's somebody that I see going, I stayed with WoW this whole time, and then this last new thing they put it just ruined it for me, and I can't.
But there's always a natural bleed, of course.
Yeah,
though.
but each expansion is apparently just awful. Everybody hates it. And the sub count bumps up because expansion, and it goes boom, and it deflates because people don't like it. And it's fascinating. But yeah, as long as you don't kill it. Hell, even if you released like Shadowbringers, right? And Shadowbringers was the end, and there was an ending to the FF14 like MMO in there. You could probably just run it like that for like 5 years. As long as you didn't ruin it. It's fucking wild.
All that to say that anyone who bought Nioh 1 got way more than they expected.
Yes, absolutely. You got a good deal.
And anyone who was on since the Nioh Alpha that was submitting ideas and then actually getting listened to.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
You know? And this is a fucking, like, we have these examples of these games where we go, okay, Nioh, Hollow Knight, Skullgirls.
Yeah.
Like, there's...
I'm going to look at the chat, see if there are others that pop up.
You know what?
Because there's probably a couple.
I'll even give it to the fucking new No Man's Sky. Right?
Yeah, they did keep working on it.
Give it to them. They did that, right?
They did do it.
But you have, like, you're counting on one hand.
Enter the Gungeon just came up. A lot of those roguelikes.
You're counting single entries in, like, games that actually went as far as they could to bring a better experience to the player over time for free.
Dying Light had a lot of stuff added to it.
Yep.
Monster Hunter is actually a pretty good example.
Kirby Star Allies, they kept going. They kept going.
Isn't that nuts? Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
Killing Floor. I'm a big fan of Killing Floor. I never got into the second one. But that shit, just endless new shit they added to it. It'd be fucking... Oh man. I should play Killing Floor
Splatoon 2. Yep, that's a good one.
Isn't it nice? And then that makes you way more likely when that sequel comes out to go, I'm going to have a good time with this for many time and big value. Big value.
The tail end is long.
Yeah. And it keeps them from playing other games.
So, Nioh, we salute you.
Good job, Nioh. Can we take a 2-minute break? I'm going to piss myself.
You can do that.
Okay, so do you want me to go to the bathroom or do you want me to just do it here?
You can not do it here.
Okay.
You should go to the bathroom.
All right, I'll be right back.
In the meantime, I'll just fill. I'll just fill for time. I'll fill by talking about I don't know. We can talk about the facial reactions that everyone had. I haven't watched that 2-hour Game of Thrones documentary yet. I haven't, but I know that it came out yesterday, and we've been too busy. But boy, am I excited, because I'm seeing pictures of Kit Harington reading about what happens for the first time and completely breaking down, and then like just going through all. And I know I read before that about how like Various actors like all read the script. Sansa read it first. He didn't. He waited until the table read, so then he saw it all for the first time there as the actors were doing it, and then just Emilia Clarke making the most like cringy face of just like she's not being cringy, she's making a face of cringe, like it's that best season ever type of face, but like even more exaggerated and dialed up, and it is wild. It is such a good fucking reaction. Poor Varys, right? Basically throwing the script down in front of him as he says his lines, and then like leaning back in the chair, visibly distraught. Poor fucking Jaime, looking really unhappy about things, and of course now a bunch of this.
You talking about that Game of Thrones shit?
Sure am.
Oh, it's funny.
Of course, a bunch of the faces and your things you're seeing are people who've been playing these characters for over 10 years, reacting as you would to the events in the story as a story, right? So you can't mischaracterize the whole thing as this is full on reaction to like the quality, because it's also reacting to the journey.
I don't know. When you look at Emilia Clarke's face and she's like,
yes. Oh, yeah. That's 100%. But I'm saying they can definitely, you can give benefit of the doubt, and they can certainly take benefit of the doubt when they want to say, I reacted that way because what happened was so powerful.
They're not going to do that, though. None of them are going to do that.
We'll see. I mean, there's already been like walkbacks at gunpoint, right? Like fucking loaded gun off camera as they kind of come out to say things like, it's funny. Like we got one rebuttal from, I think it was Emilia, who said people who are upset about the turn were not paying attention, and basically defended that, right? And it's something where you're like, yeah, 100%. No one who's paying attention here is complaining. What some people are, but there's no problem with the decision to make that happen. It's a problem with how you got there.
I don't mean to dive too much into it because
no, we're just skating for time.
But I do have one thing to say. I always talk about that Twin Peaks episode, and I remind when you were talking about the finale of Game of Thrones about like spending time walking places instead of resolving things. Yeah. Somebody sent me, and I'm sure they sent you as well. 120
minutes is
a supercut.
An hour and 20 minutes is the full running time of the
80-minute episode. 57 and a half minutes of which is establishing shot or walking shot or transition shot or landscape shot, or just they're in a 80-minute episode that is a series finale of a 10-year-long thing. They are using more than half of the runtime for not story.
I am the last person on this planet that would come out complaining about tone.
Yeah.
Right? I am very much about taking your time to deliver the right tone. I think things that like I'm not impatient.
Yeah.
When you want to let a moment linger for powerful effect. Holy shit, you have things to do, get a move on.
So, I think
are you arranging chairs, dude?
I think this is best summed up by a phrase that I just invented in my head, which is that season's rushed, right? Like HBO won an extra season and everybody feels that it's rushed. Well, if you're going to rush it, then rush it. Right?
Yeah.
If you're going to rush to the end,
right.
Then fucking rush.
Then get there.
Do it.
Yeah.
Pack every single fucking minute with shit popping off and fucking do it.
Right. Don't make it feel like wasted smash slots. On characters. Don't have like we're rushing, but we take it here. Yeah, it makes no sense.
We rushed to the scene where they walk slowly.
It was really, really strange. It was a very strange decision. Anyway, yeah, I gotta go sit down and get through that. But yeah,
that's where the real enjoyment is.
So reading like sort of some of like the actors like re-interviews after the negative.
Oh yeah.
Where they come back and sat down and went, hey, hold on, wait, hold on.
Hey.
Right? And it's
Yeah.
like, all right, yeah, HBO didn't fucking make a call.
They told you to say some shit.
No, they're saying what they want to, I'm sure.
I'm certain.
But the things that I've been seeing in terms of now hold on, let me set the record straight, right? Are all things where it's like, yeah, no, like that was a good decision.
They're doing what they can by focusing on the things they can say that are positive and true.
Yes, right? Because there are other, like, the biggest guffaws are not being addressed.
Of course not. Never talk
because
about
they
them.
remain present.
Don't know.
You know? But it makes it seem as if there's
like I want somebody to walk up to Amelia Clark and be like, "Hey, how come you did this fucking thing instead of this other thing?" And for her to go, I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't recall.
Yeah. It's like when you rise up to say, like, hey, now before this gets out of hand, right? Like when people are like, yo, Pat's a fucking dirty littering asshole.
Hey.
What the fuck? And I'm like, hey, now.
To be clear,
I
I only do it when people are around to see it, because it makes them upset. So I'm less of a litter bug and more of an asshole.
Or not, like, that's too related. I'd be like, hey, he owns a cat.
I do own a cat.
And cats are cute.
They are cute.
So I think everybody needs to just think about that and calm down.
He's dumping out a garbage bin onto the road.
I said what I said.
But
all right?
Elmo is pretty cute.
And then Twitter moments, there's just like the actors defend. Anyway. Yeah. So that's fun. Someone had a painting of all the facial reactions.
I saw it. It's beautiful.
This is legendary. This is
gonna go down. And I can see that, like, they did their, like, hostage interviews back before the negative reaction, and now they're like, if I was an actor on that, I'd kind of want to try and save it a little, because this is a lot of their legacies, right? Peter Dinklage is going to be Tyrion to a lot of people forever.
Speaking of hostages,
what?
George R.R. Martin.
Hey, I was pretty happy about this shit. Let me tell you, last week on this here podcast, the Castle Super Beasts podcast, Patrick Boivin said, hey, I think they should lock fucking George in a room until he finishes those books. I was met with the relatively reasonable assertion, Pat, that's ridiculous. You can't just lock people in rooms and have them make the art that you want or the books that you want. And I said, you know what? That's fine. And we had a really interesting conversation about what the author owes the audience, yada, yada, yada. Fast forward to the next fucking day, when George R.R. Martin is talking to, what is it, Worldcon? What the fuck is this New Zealand shit? Who's he talking to? Some shit. And he goes, you know what, New Zealand? If I don't get off that plane into New Zealand in 2020, you have my permission to lock me into a cabin over some fucking Salt Lake or some shit out in the middle of nowhere looking at the ocean, isolated, until I finish that book. You have my written consent to imprison me until I finish that book. And I went, okay, George, this is a step in the right direction. Thank you for justifying my completely irrational desire.
He said it himself. He demanded
He
it.
literally said, imprison me.
In fact, he specifically requested that you personally
Pat,
fly over,
you lock the chains around the door.
get the whip, and stay on the watch. And every once in a while, just for good measure,
Yeah.
just crack it.
Yeah. There was a reply somewhere to the podcast, either on the, I think it maybe it was the image that, I forget that guy's name, but he makes the worst moment of the podcast. He draws it.
Yeah, I believe it's Mr. Sups. Yeah.
What was it, Mr.
I believe it's Mr. Sups.
Mr. Subs. He does great work. You do a good job. And somebody made the comment that I wish I had thought of, which is, at a certain point over time, being reasonable just doesn't seem worth it anymore. It just, you get tired, and reasonableness never got you anywhere. So you know what? Let's just imprison all the writers. until they make the thing we like.
Yeah. I mean, like, fuck them for having the talent to even get into this game and do something so far above what anyone else is doing.
You know what, Wooly?
That anyone recognizes it to begin with.
You know what, Wooly? That's right.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Yeah. If you're cursed with being talented to stand up and make something that recognizes that is recognized above the crowd, then you are now fucking locked in.
You now owe society.
Yep. Your talent.
If you're a good fighter, you owe society to go fight in that pit for the entertainment of the masses.
I mean, that's basically how Cuba does it.
Cuba has fight pits?
They have like the Olympic schools or like places where if you as a kid are basically the most talented, then you go to like a place where you're going to learn to be an MMA dude, and you're competing with everyone else that's an MMA person, and you pretty much like the person who's the best of that class gets big rewards, and other people sometimes don't eat. And
what a fascinating system.
Yep. And you want to know how and why like the best of the best come out of that. It's because not only are they like fighting for comfort in their life, but not getting that comfort means living impoverished.
There's a equivalent to that. A lot of Asian friends of ours have told us that their parents' pressures on them are, well, did you get number one? No.
Yeah.
How come you didn't get number one?
Yeah.
But I got number two. Why didn't you get number one?
Yeah. Oh, you mean you got first loser?
Oh, good
second
job,
place?
first loser.
Yeah. Great. Right. Fantastic. Yeah. So
meanwhile, my parents were like, as long as you tried your best, honey, don't you worry. You can't be the best at everything.
Yeah. Full on evolve or die situations going on there. And if you'd like more details about that and you think I'm full of shit, go listen to the life story of Yoel Romero. Godlike MMA fighter that like fucking
just created by his nation.
So that's what they do. You go, oh, you're good for this. This is where you go now. You owe your country a debt to like be the most talented Cuban fighter. And he fucking ran the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Like the first chance he got.
Now listen, we can go all big and all that shit and try and broadcast it out and make the point seem ridiculous. Martin wants to be locked in a room to finish his fucking book.
He's requesting it.
So, you know what now? I don't want the book to come out. Right? I want it. I want fucking him to touch down and for the authorities, like somebody in the New Zealand government, to take it seriously and be like, you told us. He's like, no, it was a joke. It was a funny joke for the internet. And they're like, no jokes here, George.
Shackles.
Into the shack with you. Here's your fucking DOS computer. Yeah, I hope the manuscript of the book burns down.
Hey man, The Winds of Winter already has chapters on that he put out. He's already previewed it for people.
Which shows to me like a knowledge that it's going to be a while, and that like the desperation of people who think like me is actually getting to him. Because releasing book chapters of a book like that is kind of weird.
You know, it's a shame that he wasn't like Mura and like obsessed with something like World of Warcraft. Because then whenever people could ask what he's working on, he could just say, I've been working on WoW. Yeah. And they can just go like, oh, okay, cool, he's at it.
Yeah.
And that'd be it.
I think Mira's still the worst, honestly. Out of this type of thing, I think Mira's still the worst.
I want to give a shout out to that comic I saw of what was it? It was fuck. I'm fucking this up because I barely remember what it was, but it was like 3 cartoon things dragging. I forgot what the thing was. They're dragging Game of Thrones into the distance, and like Game of Thrones was being dragged away by Lost, How I Met Your Mother, and
BSG maybe.
No,
Dexter.
Yes, yeah. Dexter, Lost, and How I Met Your Mother are dragging Game of Thrones into the distance,
and it's like
Tom and Jerry.
And it's just like,
Yep. I've never ever been into How I Met Your Mother. I watched clips. I've seen clips of it. It's super cringeworthy.
All 3 of those shows, I had friends that were
we have mutual friends that aggressively tried to push it
into,
and it was like, how do we like the same comedians in comedy, but you're into this type of fucking bullshit
and then
sitcom? I don't understand. How is this funny to you?
All three of them, we got to that final season and we started to hear like discontent,
Yeah.
let's call it, and then came the endings, and they were like, I wish I never watched this fucking show.
I don't understand how something called How I Met Your Mother ends up having a shitty ending, because it seems really straightforward
Yeah.
in terms of what you got to do with it.
Yeah.
I suppose at the point where it gets too popular and decides not to end, you have a problem.
Yeah.
But I don't get how something with that title can get fucked up, because it really seems like you have a solid out anytime you need it.
And that's how I met her.
Am I like it's wild how that is getting raked over the coals over. I'm like I want to know how you fuck that up. I really do. I'm legit curious. Anyway, man, softball of a fucking title. So the story is that George R.R. Martin, aka Grimm, has been talking. And in addition to that Winds of Winter story about him going to New Zealand, there's the also...
I sent you how you fuck it up on your phone.
Spoilers about how the ending of... Wow! This show's garbage! How I Met Your Mother sucks! Whoa! That's so stupid! What a terrible show! Oh my god, what is wrong with anyone that likes this thing? What a piece of shit!
Yeah, I know.
That's wow. Wow, that's bad. That's wow. Okay, I didn't know.
It's really bad, huh? All right.
Okay, 9 seasons?
8, 9,
13?
A lot.
Anyway. So, the news is that George R.R. Martin talked about how he... people are dying for it.
No, don't do it. Come
All
on.
right.
Let them go look it up themselves.
No, yeah, find out. Yeah,
there have been documentaries made on how bad the ending was.
Really?
No.
Okay.
But there have been, YouTube documentaries.
Okay. All right.
There's a YouTube documentary on your fucking left nut at this point.
It is the standout. There's a blog post that George R. R. Martin made where he's talking about how busy he was and what he was up to.
Yeah.
And I remember reading this, in which he said, I consulted on a game out of Japan. Was the exact phrase.
I remember that.
Yes. So the story goes, George R. R. Martin consulted on a game developed in Japan. Back in March, a YouTube channel, Spawnwave, published a video discussing a rumor spreading about the next project from Dark Souls and Bloodborne developer From Software, which is stated to be an open world title, which Grimm is one of the lead writers, with various kingdoms to visit and an ability to obtain from killing the leaders of those kingdoms.
Supposedly the name is Great Rune.
A person familiar with the ongoings of FromSoft has told Gematsu that the project, said to be known internally as Great Rune, or GR.
You get it? Get it, you fucks?
I don't know about. Well, this just refers to GR. I don't know about the other wording.
I've seen the name Great Rune floating around. I don't know where it came from though.
Okay. It's been in development for 3 years, and it's supposedly an open world title with horse riding in collaboration between Miyazaki and George R.R., published by Bandai Namco, to be officially announced at E3 2019.
Yo, that'd be dope.
We have not been able to confirm or verify this information, but we've shared what we've heard in light of his blog.
You know what'd be great? If From Software made an open world game in which one of the kingdoms was the horse dudes.
Dothraki?
Yeah. No. The both Raku.
Sure. I mean,
yeah.
You know what would be a great console to play this video game on?
What's that?
Your Game of Thrones Xbox.
Yeah, I would, wouldn't it?
Branded with the logos and everything, as we saw
laughed
announced
about 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. So,
yeah.
Game of Souls?
Yeah, man. Oh, no, they're not. It's not going to be named anything like Game of Thrones.
No, I'm saying it as in the derivative sense.
I hope they go back to the naming convention of having souls in the title. I actually really like it.
I directly pointed to the fight in the final season that was a Dark Souls boss fight.
Yeah.
It happened. It was there. Mm-hmm. You know?
You could do it.
It's kind of nuts, too, to think that, like, a studio and a team and a director inspired by Berserk are now swinging all the way around into
it's really weird
working with someone like George R.R. Martin.
Now, that being said, Miyazaki's grandest inspiration for the Soul series was his childhood reading English fantasy novels that he couldn't quite understand, so they left gaps in his understanding of what the story was actually about, which is why the Dark Souls series is so vague. What better writer to team up with than one whose story has big motherfucking gaps in it because it's not done? George R.R. Martin can write the best gap-filled story. He's been writing one for decades.
A Song of Souls.
There you go. You did it. You did it.
I sure did.
We need to get a fucking Berserk game. I don't care. Just do it. Just do it. Say it takes place between say it takes place on a boat chapter that we just didn't see. And that's the whole cast is there. And he's got the armor. And they took a pit stop on an island. Done. It's done.
Okay. The clear winner is A Song of Souls, but I gotta give it up to the runner-up, Souls of Ice and Fire. It's not as good, but it's pretty all right. No, Song of Souls is the winner.
Yeah.
You don't need to keep trying.
Yeah, it was done. What other news we got?
You know what else is speaking of not done?
I'm not even sure what sound effect that was.
Sonic the Hedgehog live action movie delayed to February 14th, Valentine's Day 2020.
I can only think the reason that this was actually delayed is they got back from the VFX team. And it's like, no matter how hard we crunch, we are not going to be able to do what you guys want by this time.
But the tweet from the director said, "Thank you for your support and criticism. The message is loud and clear. You aren't happy with the design, and and you want change. It's going to happen. Everyone at Paramount and Sega are fully committed to taking a little more time to make Sonic just right." And then you got a picture with the new date and a glove on the hand. Important to note. Glove is now on the Sonic hand. Glove confirmed. And a little asterisk at the bottom saying, "No VFX artists were harmed in the making of this movie."
Yes.
So they specifically were saying that no crunch and no karoshi.
No Karoshi.
No karoshi.
No. There's a follow-up little piece to this story. So people were looking at the glove and the arm. And they were also looking at the art of a man named Tyson Hesse, I believe. He's an American comic artist.
Who dat?
He is the creator of Diesel from Boom Comics.
Oh my god. Yeah, okay.
He's the director of Sonic Mania Adventures.
Okay.
Etc. Well, if you went to his Twitter, you would notice that he retweeted the Sonic announcement. And people noticed similarities between the arm on that and prior Sonic movie art he had drawn himself, going, "Hey, look, I think it should look like this." And when people started going, "Are you fucking working on this now?" He posted this fucking image of Tony Stark at the ending of Iron Man 1. Right before he says, "I am Iron Man."
Yeah.
So it looks like they brought this bro on as... Yeah, here's the painting I'm describing of the Sonic movie from a while ago. Looks like they brought in Tyson as some kind of consultant or possible visual effects director or something.
What? Let me see. I'm looking at his Twitter now. And
look at the photo of Robert Downey Jr. there.
Yeah. But where's the Sonic related stuff that he...
Oh, that was from a while back.
Oh.
Like the art, and then people started going, "Hey, are you working on this?" And in comes the "I am Iron Man" shot from Iron Man 1. Apropos of nothing.
So he was brought in to save.
It seems like he was brought in to save the visual identity of this movie.
Wow.
And if they're going to lengths of that, that's top to bottom redesign. Yeah, they're not gonna. You can't do that by the time the shit needs to come out. So we're now in this weird state of like they're gonna save the Sonic movie by making Sonic look like Sonic, but the movie's still gonna be fucking awful. It's still going to be terrible. It's going to have a good-looking Sonic in it.
I mean, that goes without saying. Of course.
I know, but it's like...
You can't escape cringe with a makeover.
But now I'm like, I kind of want it to be more cringe.
You're going to get all the cringe you can eat.
Really? Are you sure? I can eat some cringe.
You see fucking James Marsden?
I did.
Sitting in that chair?
I did.
Just like he did years prior?
With a similar rabbit movie or whatever the fuck.
Like,
I think it's called.
Shit's locked in.
I see it. I've seen it.
Well, anyway. So, that is Valentine's Day 2020.
I know how I'll be spending that Valentine's Day. At the Sonic movie. Not even joking.
Yeah.
If I suggest any other plans, I will get shot down for sure.
Or just shot.
Yeah, possibly. And as we all remember, Pat hates getting shot.
Now, you don't have to wait for Valentine's Day, however, to get your hands on Lethal League Blaze, because it's coming to the PS4 and the Switch.
Oh, good. That's a good game.
In September. And, yeah. I mean, after we've been kind of looking at that PC version for a minute.
It's good.
Yes. But finally getting ported. 4 players, extra characters, all the stuff that basically was in development over time, because when we took a look at it, all the characters were not out yet.
Yeah, it was early.
And this is going to be coming fresh with all of that shit and a bunch of what sounds like possibly new things.
Good.
Being added to it. So fuck yeah, just wanted to push and pump Lethal League Blaze once again for those who managed to somehow dodge this on Steam. Grab it for consoles because it's rad. Its styles are awesome. And of course, Team Reptile and Hideki Naganuma, just two fucking stylish.
Two great styles that taste great together.
Doing the thing.
Nailed it.
Ain't nothing like a funky beat. That's it.
Music in that game is so fucking good. You
found it kind of interesting, actually. So in addition to that's coming to the Switch and PS4.
Yeah.
Also coming to Switch and PS4. Dead Cells with a new update. After what's the date on that? A big new update from Motion Twin, Rise of the Giant, adding 10 new weapons. This Rise of the Giant?
Yeah, that came out months ago.
Well, I guess this is the console update. Then.
Yeah. No, Rise of the Giant came out a long time ago.
Then I kind of wasn't paying as close attention because it mentions a bunch of new weapons and items and doors and such. Okay. Well, it's not that news.
Yeah, when I streamed Dead Cells a couple months ago, that was right after the Rise of the Giant update came out.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I guess good news for console people that are behind then.
Yeah, and the slow zone idiots for losers.
All right. Well, Surge 2, anybody?
Hopefully.
Closed beta applications open. Only 50 users will be accepted.
What?
Only 50
That's
users
closed.
Will be accepted.
That's closed as fuck.
Yeah. So the Surge 2 is happening. They've been working on it for a while now, and they've reached a stage which they'd like to gather some feedback. So only 50 players.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Accepted.
What if all 50 are dumb assholes?
Well, you can apply, and they will choose.
Only the dumbest assholes. You know.
Submit an IQ test.
Yeah, and then they go to the bottom of that list.
That's wild. I mean, shit, like, that's a very easy group of people to have zero effective testers on. Yeah. But I guess though they're looking for just play.
Does this shit suck?
They're looking for play testing as opposed to like
What boss does everybody get stuck on?
Yeah, you know, they just want a really quick sort of playtest experience. Yeah, kind of nuts, but I guess they're saying that is going to be out at some point this year.
Cool.
So this this is dated for 2019.
Then how much feedback can they possibly implement?
That's a good question.
Like,
Focus Home Interactive. We don't know. Well, or rather, Deck 13 Interactive. You said
first one's pretty good for a while, and
but
then
you never beat it, right?
Yeah, you get to about halfway through, and the enemy designs change and become very unfun to fight.
Well, what I want to know about it more than anything is what does Endgame
I have no idea.
build look like?
Absolutely no idea.
You know, like how much?
You look like a transformer, I think.
Do you go from like Diesel Souls fucking like broken garage parts to still broken garage parts, but like a full suit that does crazy shit?
Do, but I'm not certain.
You know, that's the only question I have. Like, what does the full set look like in this game, and how much can you do? Are you ever just whipping out a gun?
No.
Okay. This fucking blast from the past. Remember Rune? So
the Viking game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Made on the
I can't
Quake
believe I
engine, or was it Unreal? I forget. It was one of those two.
Dude, I remember the box art has a Viking with an axe on it, and that's pretty much the extent of my memory.
It was really fun.
Was it?
Yes.
Okay.
Played a bunch of multiplayer with my brother, a fucking Rune. Back in the day, I remember because it was like, oh, it's like a shooter. It's like everyone was playing first person shooters at the time, and I'm like, I want that, but I want third person and melee. And that's what Rune was. I'm like, awesome.
You should play Chivalry or Mordhau.
I know. Oh yeah, I did. I know Chivalry.
Yeah, Chivalry's this fucking shit. I love Chivalry.
It was really yeah. So, but at the time, I was like, give me this with where I can see my body and where it's not guns. And eventually, we got Rune, and they've been working on Rune Ragnarok.
Really?
But now it's called Rune II.
Okay.
And this summer, apparently, that shit's coming out.
Cool.
From Human Head. So,
wait, Human Head still exists?
yeah, I know.
I thought Bethesda killed them.
I don't know. I don't know how or why, but it might just be a zombie Human Head.
It might be, which would be appropriate.
But either way, it's an Epic
Hey.
game. It's an Epic Game Store thing.
Oh, of course.
So, what you gonna what? But yeah, this was okay. Here we go. It was originally in early access on Steam in September 2018. Then it got canceled to secure additional funding,
Which came from the Epic Game Store.
and now it's getting released there as Rune 2.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. Rune was the shit, man. I gotta say, like, this coming back after all this time, like, I'm curious to see if it's at all what it used to be. It was one of it basically was like it's the kind of stuff that Bid for Power got me excited for, you know, like the speed of Quake and Unreal, but just in an arena setting, you know, and like having again the Chivalry style, like different blocks when you get a run up to somebody, different types of parries, different things, different ways to engage melee was very fun, and yeah, I didn't know how popular it was. / I didn't know if anyone else really cared about it though. I feel like my brother and I kind of just spent some time with it, but we didn't really.
up until this moment, I had never known a single person who had played it.
Okay. I'm surprised you even know what I'm talking about, to be honest.
I saw the box on a shelf once.
Dude, I've talked about Die by the Sword. Like,
Yeah,
you
I
should know what kind of PC games I was looking for, but just by putting the two and two together there, you know. And that other dragon game with the redhead girl, I forget. But anyway, Rune 2. I guess we're out of news that anyone gives a shit about, so we can go into the letters.
Hey, if you want to send a letter, first of all, type it into an email. Then send it to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. And your letter may be read on the air and answered either seriously or sarcastically.
No promises.
No promises to any of that shit.
we'll take our first one to talk about something that could have been a news story, but might as well be an email.
Fuck it. What do we got?
Hitboxes and the FGC.
Okay.
You heard a little bit about this?
I hear some things, but I want to be clear before I say anything.
I mean, the short of it is Daigo has been practicing on a hitbox.
Right.
And he's been practicing on a Gaffro box.
I'm not familiar with that.
So it's a different product.
Okay.
And it has a different... it's got a different PCB inside of it.
Sure.
And it handles things, the button placement and size a little bit differently.
All right.
So we got this coming in from some guy in North Carolina. Says, greetings, Super Beast Cast. Had some thoughts about the FGC related happenings, and I just wanted to write in and share perspective from someone who's loved fighting games over a decade but always struggled to get good. I bought an MVC3 Mad Cat stick on release and have tried various other sticks since. None worked out due to my wrist being terrible.
Yeah.
However, a year or two ago, I found something that finally worked for me, a hitbox. Once I started thinking of it like a keyboard and with a spacebar for movement, it immediately clicked. Practicing now had visible results, and I even started to enjoy it. I challenged myself to do 100 Tiger Knee Yozansens a day and managed to clear all of Baiken's combo missions except for number 10. Lately, I've been thinking about how to track down my local FGC scene and getting more involved. However, the controversy around Combo Breaker and Capcom banning Daigo's custom hitbox, there have been a lot of hate surfacing towards hitboxes in general, and now going to my local scene with a quote-unquote cheat box kicks my anxiety into overdrive and has left me pretty discouraged. What are your thoughts on hitboxes? Do you have any general advice for new faces looking to get involved in a local scene?
So I didn't know that Capcom banned Daigo's box.
From Combo Breaker, they made a ruling where they basically decided that, the Gaffro box was banned.
Is it that type, or is it that it's custom?
So the thing is that, from what I understand, right, a Gaffro box is like, I mean, at the end of the day, a hitbox, like, there's a company selling it to you, right? But it still is pretty much something that a group of people are kind of putting together and, offering. The Gaffro box, the main difference, and this is it gets pretty complicated in terms of inputs. The main thing we've always been concerned about, and I remember we were yelling about this a while ago, was
like some of the earlier ones, you could hold two directions at the same time.
Hitbox would always would always make sure that was impossible.
Yeah,
right.
But you could fuck with it,
and that the game would never actually detect or react to like holding left and right simultaneously in this way. The way the Gaffro box works is it's not actually inputting both directions simultaneously into the game. It overrides the last input with the second to last input with the last input.
Oh, sure. That makes
sense. So if
sense.
you're holding the back button and then you press forward,
it's
you
now
start.
Forward.
You're not exactly. And the moment you let go of forward, it reverts to back.
Okay.
Right.
That would be really good for charge characters.
Yeah, it does. It's really good for Guile, for example.
Really, really good.
Who Daigo uses. So all this to say that that's effectively the difference. Whereas a hitbox, when you press left and right at the same time, it just goes neutral. The other difference between the two is the hitbox uses 30 millimeter buttons.
Yeah.
And the Gaffro box uses other way around. Gaffro box uses 30 millimeters and the hitbox uses 24s, except for
in
the
diameter.
Yeah, it's a two button sizes basically. So, but for the most part, these exist, and I would want it to direct, like, there's the news story, and then there's this guy's letter. So to you, sir, I feel that you should not feel discouraged by that at all.
Absolutely not.
You should take your hitbox and bring it out and do whatever. And I mean, unless a TO comes up to you and is shitty and tells you can't use that here, which I strongly doubt you're going to see that happen. Just participate and play with it, and don't worry about that, because this recent sort of thing everyone's talking about, like, that has nothing to do with the fact that hitboxes have existed for years now and are acceptable peripherals that people use. I have friends that literally use them because their wrists were taking damage.
Yes.
And they had to switch to a hitbox because an arcade stick was no longer viable.
Smashbox got created.
It
was a big
exactly
kerfuffle over those getting banned.
We had Pedro on our show. He for get into fighting games. He had to switch to a hitbox after a while because he had wrist pain.
Yeah.
And a lot of people use it as an alternative, not just because of like button preference, but because it's also like a wrist thing.
Now there is one
There's
thing.
nothing wrong with taking your hitbox out to your locals, and you should not feel bad or have anyone make you feel bad for doing that.
This one though, the Gaffro.
Gaffro.
The way that you describe those inputs does sound like a genuine advantage.
Now, the thing is I honestly don't have enough enough info of the specifics of exactly how they differ, but that's what I read in the short Japanese translation summary of it.
Like the whole idea behind regulation anything in a sport or competition is so that nobody has an undue advantage over somebody else, right? Hitbox was kind of murky, but everyone kind of, once the hitbox, the company itself made sure that the boxes were legit, everyone kind of settled.
But you can make your own custom stick.
Right. But the input type that you're describing sounds like it's a way to ignore the time period that you would otherwise have to move a finger or a hand or whatever to make something instantaneous, like actually instantaneous.
Yeah, and it makes pianoing pretty good too as well.
That seems like a genuine advantage. And if that is the case, I can absolutely understand banning that specific type.
Mix boxes exist as well. That's the one I have over there with the keyboard on it.
Yeah,
instead.
that's for crazy.
But some people actually like and want that type of thing, right?
That reminds me. There was a Final Fantasy 14 keyboard thing that got announced that you might actually want.
Yeah, I saw it. See, a lot of people, every time any type of hand peripheral comes out, everyone sends it to me and says, "This is you."
Yeah, nah.
It's not.
Oh, okay.
There's an underlying part of every time I talk about my configuration.
That's right.
That gets lost, right? And it's the part where I'm showing you the completed final working product.
Yeah.
Right?
We're not seeing the dozen.
I'm not asking you for help. I'm not asking for your suggestions. I don't need to see the hoary half and half that actually does the opposite effect of putting the mouse over here and putting the hand control. Like, literally, I'm showing you the thing that I have that works, but everyone's like, no, but here's it. No, I'm good. So when I put the little thing that says, please don't send me the other peripherals, I know they exist, I'm not interested.
Here's the problem.
Yes.
You're not good.
Okay.
It's upsetting to watch you use that abomination.
I am sorted out.
Now, as somebody who has learned to live with it,
sorted,
I will tell you it is straight up upsetting to look at.
Sorted.
I don't like it.
Proper sorted, mate.
And when the UI start go nuts, it's very upsetting.
Done. Setted. The UI doesn't go nuts. They fix those. Game lets you lock it in one or the other.
Good, that's good. They should all do that, honestly.
Sorted. Now, that being said, I feel like this is one of those situations where it calls for a specific type of ruling, and what we have here is a giant gray area.
It's all very gray.
Because anyone can make their own stick. I've made my own stick and brought it to competitions. You
could have done all sorts of bullshit inside there.
Well, it's like turning the joystick inputs into buttons is the easiest thing in the world. It's as simple as like taking the wire from the stick and plugging it into the button.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just like it activates the same thing on your PCB. So like ultimately, when you want to make a ruling on this, I guess you have to get into the nitty-gritty that you were originally ignoring and make a call on what types of functionality are banned, if any. Or because you can't ban layout, you can't ban button size.
Fuck that.
You can't ban, you know what I mean, like things like that.
No, you have to ban functionality.
You have to ban functionality.
What comes built into this thing? Like, hey, this thing has turbo on and you have it on. Turn it the fuck off.
Yes. At the same time, what if the stick had like two buttons for like forward so that you can just roll off of them to do a dash?
That's weird, actually.
Repetition buttons.
What if there's a macro button
but it's not a macro. It's the same
No,
input.
but what if there is?
Yeah. Right? So that's what I'm saying is you need to make a ruling on what specifics are okay and not okay.
Yeah.
Especially in a thing where historically people have made their own controllers entirely. Yeah. And I would make my own hitbox. Like I could it's really easy to do. This is super
It needs to be laid down
unsorted. It's too
so the people who are showing up to play for money need to know whether or not they're able to use their control method of
traveling to places and so on.
Right?
Exactly.
Alternatively, if you want to make it strict, provide equipment at the thing, and if people complain, tell them to get fucked.
But I think the important part of this, because Daigo has done some streams, there's a couple that went like big where him talking about he's like, I can dream again, you know, like because he's doing things that he didn't pick up with Guile, you know. Yeah. And then there's another one where him and Fudo are just discussing Capcom, talking about it. Yeah. And at the end of the day, you just like, it's not black and white. And if you are saying it's black and white, like I think you're either.
Hey, listen, I
think you're missing a lot of information on the nature of how sticks function.
I
think you're possibly just riding the wave of your feelings.
Yeah, which is fun,
but not actually gonna be something you can write rules based around.
Listen, I'm the kind of guy who sees many issues in black and white where maybe I shouldn't. This is complicated and weird. And has a nitty-gritty that most people don't even think or know about or care about. But at some level, the technical specifications of a button input are important. If we're talking about, you know, cash prizes. Something I want to add is it's only tangential. We talked last week about Cygames and the fucking Grand Blue shit. How much money could they possibly kick in? People will link me to like a giveaway they had over the summer.
Crazy money.
They're giving away 2 million yen a day
for Grand Blue
to random people.
Yeah, exactly.
All sorts of like fucking
Cygames is rolling in.
And apparently, for I think League or Dota, there was a prize pool that hit like 1 million, and like it changed the scene overnight.
Yeah. Just because I don't want to let it slide without without at least pointing something out. The whole thing about the inputs that I mentioned, where it like reverts back to one. Certain controllers have advantages with certain types of inputs.
Oh yeah, totally.
No matter what, this has always been the case.
I like to play charge characters. I'm gonna use a fucking square gate.
Certainly, right? A tradition, actually, funny enough, Yeah, exactly. A square game.
I want to put that fucking stick and down back and let it live there.
If your game requires middles or neutrals, however, you're going to have a little bit of a hard time.
Yeah.
Now, or a harder time, not if you practice enough. But so hitboxes, traditional hitboxes, make 360s easier. They do. There is less like wrist movement required. There's less overall input required. You just roll off of it and it works, right? A thumbstick on a PS4 controller will do a 360 easier than or 720 easier than you would with a traditional JLF.
It's trivial.
So like different inputs having advantages and disadvantages is common. It's normal, right?
Like Snake Eyes has that controller that some student team built for him. It looks like shit, but apparently he likes it quite a bit.
And a pad player can't piano. Or if they do, they do it...
It's awkward. It's weird.
If they do, they're doing it in a less efficient way than just the actual roll. So the idea of the left-right thing that we brought up earlier, sounding like it sounds to you, it's like, yeah, but there's other examples of that.
Oh, totally.
You know,
but they all have to be taken into account.
Yep.
And if some things were decided are okay in the past, you have to compare them to the things that you want to say are or aren't okay now.
Yeah.
And it's really complicated. And I hope that Capcom and other developers have somebody sit the fuck down and actually really go through this. And they won't.
I'm going to create a pretzel stick that makes it really easy to do pretzel motions and nigh impossible to do anything else.
Hey, what if you make a stick out of a pizza box, but the pizza's still in it?
Oh,
is that banned?
Oh, fuck. You got a tasty treat between rounds?
No.
Yeah, insulate that shit.
Is that coaching?
if you got room to open it up, because you can open up your sticks now.
Yeah.
It's not hard. Yeah, you just got to make a little extra room. It's doable. Easily.
Yeah.
Easily doable. For sure. Tasty shit.
Pizza advantage.
Hell yeah. No, man, this is a weird one. And yeah,
It's really complicated.
it is. And you know, I hope that I hope that they take everything into account when making a ruling on this, because I would absolutely hate to see some sort of stupid, short-sighted ruling where it's kind of like anything that is not made by this tier of company.
Yeah, anything
is
that doesn't have a
banned.
Capcom logo on it. Or
Yeah,
some
you know
shit.
what I mean, or whatever, like
fuck
peripherals that, like your peripheral, like or because just like the entirety of Hitbox is now a known name because they started as a random group of people putting together the thing they wanted, and then it became a company that started selling it after that. But like getting shut down if you're not Hori, Capcom, or Mad Cats off the bat is like
or
bullshit.
Canva or whatever. You know?
Yeah, you can't, or you can't fucking make rules officially on that. That would suck. You can do what you want.
You can add specs that things need to confer to, but if you said no hitboxes, well, good job. You just killed that company for nothing.
And I'm sure there's rulings on what type of mouse and keyboard are allowed in
Probably.
FPS and RTS competitions.
I think for RTS ones, you just show up and your shit's there and it's standard, depending on like if it's StarCraft and whatnot.
But like,
I don't know.
how much macroing are you allowed to keyboard?
Probably none. That's why their APMs are so high, right?
Huh. Yeah, I suppose so. Because like advanced like keyboard macro buttons are like full gesture.
Oh yeah, they're
full gesture.
Do the 360 so I can snipe them.
CS:GO allows 0 macros. Okay. There you go.
Get caught doing a macro, then you got a Mac Go. I fucked that up. That's terrible. Next email, come on.
If you got caught doing a macro, then you're gonna go back row.
That's better, but it's still pretty bad.
James says, Dare Castle super leased.
Oh man,
with E3 going closer.
Who even gives a shit?
I made a quick quiz you might like for the 5 questions of past E3 moments, and the answers are at the bottom, so Wooly can try too.
I can do this.
What game was said to have battles that actually happened in Japanese history?
Genji 2.
All right. There were options. It's a multi-choice, but yeah, that's correct. What did Bill Trinan ask when Skyward Sword controls were messed up? Was it A, did someone change the batteries? B, did someone move the sensor bar? Or C, is someone out there using wireless?
Wireless.
I'm going to say C as well.
Was it wireless?
We'll find out after.
Okay.
What console did people boo
The Vita.
when Sony said, and the provider will be Verizon meaning AT&T? Okay, that's A. Yeah.
It's the only time it ever happened.
How many troops were said to show up in 99 Nights 2?
1 million.
That's C. That's correct. Okay. All right. That's 1 for 1, by the way.
Okay.
All right. So I got mine in earlier. You got yours in now.
Yeah.
No,
that is literally what he says.
Yes, it is. That's correct.
He repeats it over and over.
And lastly, what word was Todd Howard praised for saying at last year's conference? Was it ass? Was it fuck? Or shit?
I think it was fuck.
I think it's fuck. Yeah, I think so. All right. Well, the answers were B, Genji 2.
Shocker.
C, is someone out there using wireless?
There it is.
A, Vita. C, 1 million. And
Is it written 1 million?
no, it's a number.
Okay.
And B, fuck.
Yeah, nailed it.
Perfect.
I've watched a lot of E3 coverage. Here's a bonus one for you. What? You know what? That's too vague. I was just gonna ask, like, what famous actor went to the Ubisoft show sloshed, only to realize that has happened like 3 or 4 times.
I mean,
Jamie Kennedy was the one that did it really bad, and then later it was the guy, the community guy.
I mean, Aisha Tyler was around.
Was she sloshed though, or was she just Aisha Tyler?
She might as well have been.
Yeah.
And I just want to bring up Joel McHale.
Joel McHale, that's who I'm talking about. That's him.
Yeah.
Hey, do you remember the name of the guy who went like this? Do you remember that? on the transitions.
Mr.
It was Mr. something.
Mr. Showtime? I forget.
It was Mr. Caffeine.
Mr. Caffeine. Mr. Caffeine. Doodly, 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 doodly.
You notice that all the really embarrassing ones are almost all Ubisoft?
Almost.
And then there's the Konami one. The greatest of all.
But then there's the like hardware manufacturer ones that are all just like people just barfing gross words out.
So do you know what show I'm actually looking forward to the most this year? Because it's going to be a mess. The PC gaming show. Probably sponsored by Epic.
As opposed to Devolver or...
It's going to be a mess.
How old is Mr. Caffeine now? What year was that?
That's 5 years ago.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Ish.
Uh-huh. Mr. Caffeine E3?
What the fuck were they thinking?
2011, dude.
Oh.
Okay.
That was bad.
Some listeners were 6 years old
Damn.
when Mr. Caffeine was a thing.
Go check that shit out. Go look up Mr. Caffeine on YouTube. It's fucking nuts. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, I was
that happened.
I was on my stream. I was talking about how I remember when YTV had a commercial or had a run for like naming the Toronto Raptors. Because I remember when they had a special where it's like,
oh my god, I do remember that.
Call in to vote on which name you want this team to be, and it was all these like dinosaur names, and like Scorpions was like one of the others, I think. And then afterwards, like Steph and my friend fucking just came over and were just like, oh my god, you fucking ancient dinosaur of a human being. You remember the Raptors being named? And I'm like, it was the mid-90s. What the
like
fuck?
20 years old.
Yeah, it was like, again, it's just like, it was totally the mid-90s, but it was just one of those moments of like, saying you were around at the beginning of a sports franchise sounds crazy old compared to anything else.
Yeah.
Because they're all from like the black and white ages.
I remember this city having a fucking baseball team.
Yeah, exactly. Correction. Oz. One-take books do exist. Dear Wooly, Pat said there was no person with a manuscript or a story in their head. Stories cannot be written in one take. I call bullshit to that, as Harlan Ellison proves it can be done. Please read the background section of this link.
This better not be I Have No Mouth and I Must
Ellison
Scream.
showed the first 6 pages of I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream to Frederick Pohl, who paid him in advance to finish it. He finished writing the story in a single night in 1966 without making any changes from the first draft.
So this guy sent this, or probably this guy, sent this into me on my stream last Tuesday, to which I replied, you're aware that I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream is a 13-page short story, totaling less than 10,000 words. Something that, if I had the talent, like you went to Sejet, you banged 13 pages out in an hour.
Yeah,
You're full of shit.
I also read the book in about an hour.
Yeah, it's not even a book.
Well, the story.
Right? It's like, whatever. Now, if you want to fucking hit me, apparently Kubla Khan is is an entire novel written after a single dream.
Okay, so because a bunch of these came in.
And is unfinished because the guy got interrupted while writing it.
Yep, so it was based on a dream. So they all reached you then.
Totally.
Okay.
But like, everyone went, well, I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream was written in a day. So yeah, it only took like a couple hours to write. It's super short. It's super short. That bugs me because that's people who didn't read it.
Right.
Telling me, who did read it, how long it is. Like, you fell for my trap, dumbasses.
Non-urgent message from Ed.
Hey, Ed, what up, man? This is non-urgent?
Dear Chewy and Fuckface.
Yo, what's up?
Whatever you do, don't get into the Fate series. Hold on. We already have enough filthy secondaries shitting up the place.
I don't know what that
I'd
means.
rather my favorite 2 Canucks weren't among them, especially after that Naoto and Kanji fiasco. With love, Ed. P.S. Wesker doesn't teleport. He just runs fast.
Well, I guess I gotta get into Fate now.
Ed, Congratulations. Gate successfully kept. You've held the moat, and you filled it with boiling lava. You've lowered, and then you've pulled up the drawbridge and locked down the gate.
The biggest thing keeping
no one will ever get in.
The biggest thing keeping
Good
me
job.
from getting into Fate is the people that tell me to get into Fate. They seem like awful bad people.
No, the biggest thing from getting from me
Yes,
getting
you.
the biggest thing from me getting into Fate is that I've been through Tsukihime.
I don't know what that is.
That's the thing they made before.
Okay.
So, I'm just I had my fill.
Yeah.
I know what the vibe is.
And to those of you thinking when I said yes you that I was talking about that other person and not you, Fate fan, no, it was you. You specifically.
And if you're saying, "Oh, Wooly, do you mean Melty Blood, the fighting game?" No. Tsukihime, as in the original story Melty Blood was based on. So, cheers. And let's take a last one from whatever 1000th random asshole, Juice Joseph.
Okay.
See, sometimes I see the name of the person emailing from their account,
And then you try and figure out what the name you actually want to call them is.
because the name they sometimes want to use is not the name that their account gives.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be rude to somebody who's hiding their identity.
Yeah, you want to say Joey Jam Jams and it's not Joey Boblowy.
And so on. Until you read it, and then it's some nonsense like this one was.
All right, let's read this nonsense.
Okay, Dear Walking Cardiologist Nightmares.
Got it.
I imagine Willie might have done this on his own already, but first, on the slim chance you didn't, here's the X-Act and Max-Act sound effects for you to use.
Oh, cool.
I've been using them as my text messages, mainly X-Act, because it's not realistic for me to hear Max-Act multiple times in a row. It's pretty good. Anyways, maybe in return I can get you to read some stuff in Spanish badly. No, I won't give you the translations. I'll just let other people tell you what they said.
I'm not doing that. Not doing it.
I promise no dead memes on Woolie's part, though. No?
Nah, fuck that. Read things out you don't understand? What could go wrong?
I think we have enough of an understanding of Latin to...
Nope.
Latin-based languages.
You enjoy getting on the news, buddy.
Okay, well, my section says, A mí me gustan los personajes que boxean con estilo, los niños buenos rosados y acostarme en basura para chistes en mi canal. Si gustarían más de eso, revisen mi canal Woolly Versus. Si estaban esperando algo de un pantano o un hoyo, se pueden ir a la mierda. There we go.
Ay, caramba.
No giving up midways because it's too hard and we don't speak the language and it sounds bad. Anyway, that's why it's entertaining for us native speakers. Be a good sport and do it with farts. From Juice Joseph.
Sorry, Juice. Not going to do it.
All right. Well, with that, we should wrap it up because apparently my balls are too heavy and big for this podcast to continue. Your section was there, and at a glance...
Whatever, man. You can have your heated Spanish gamer moment.
Okay. Highlight reels. Fuck. Damn. Just like front page of the newspaper in various countries the next day. Yeah.
Man declares war.
He said what?
Yeah.
I was going out for tacos later too.
Well, anyway. Tacos?
I say taco. How do is it taco?
It is. I
thought
taco.
Tawco.
Yeah.
Should I be saying taco?
Yeah, taco.
Because I've always said.
That being said, I should not
taco.
I should not joke on someone's pronunciation, considering the fucking word salad that comes out of my face.
I have a friend named Paco. We call him
okay.
Paco. You know, so I think taco. Paco.
You going out with Paco to get some tacos?
I don't say Paco, so I wouldn't necessarily say taco. I don't know.
What about Thaco?
Thaco.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't say Thaco. But Min corrected me on it as well yesterday when he's like, why'd you say taco? I was like, because it's TACO. Taco. No? I don't know.
I have like been a prolific language-based asshole forever.
Crazy taco.
Where I get so mad when words don't follow what I interpret to be the correct pronunciation.
Yeah, but we're also Canadian.
So like
in France.
like J in Spanish being like a ya, right?
Yeah.
Or a ha.
Yeah.
Right? Makes me nuts. Because I'm like, just put H there. Do you know how to spell?
Yeah.
And then people are like, you're an idiot. I'm like, okay, maybe. But it makes me feel dumb because you this is how self-centered it is in my mind. Why'd you mix the letters around to make me look stupid when I said it?
Yeah, right. God, was anyone in the stream around when
No, they were
when
all,
yesterday when Min mispronounced the word? Because he mispronounced a really obvious word. And like, it's funny because I talked about how I'm playing like all these games with people with huge French accents.
It cracks me the fuck up
So,
that everyone on your fucking channel has this super thick accent.
So everyone who like gives us shit about our English, like occasional missteps.
May I show you Mr. Voltabase?
Yeah, is like you're like yeah, pour the fucking molasses and try to listen to But there was a word he said that. Like, I was like, why would you say it that way? And like, it made perfect sense where it was like, it was one of those exceptions where, oh yeah, margarine. Thank you.
How do you say it?
So he said margarine.
Yeah, of course he did.
Right? And I was like, man, why the fuck would you say margarine?
Then the real answer is, why the fuck would we say margarine?
And he's like, wait, why is it margarine? And I'm like, because that's how it's always been said. It's the soft G. And he's like, why is it not a hard G? And I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, why is...
Because English is stupid. That's why.
Because then, like, he's like, he's like, name me one other word in English where G follows A follows a G, where it's not a hard G. And I can't think of one. There isn't. I literally don't think there's a single letter, a single word where you use a G followed by an A, and it's a soft G, except for margarine.
English is like the almost de facto lingua franca now of the world. It becomes the second language that most people learn. But there's something about English that everyone needs to know.
Yeah.
It's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And its phonetics are total garbage. There is no link between how things are spelled in English and how they're actually pronounced.
It's really weird. And then we started getting into the difficulties of like, yeah, but at least we don't have gendered tables and chairs.
Fair enough.
So that shit gets really dumb.
That shit is super weird and confusing.
Yeah.
It's a byproduct of English absorbing a dozen other languages into itself.
Chat, bless your heart. I understand that it's hard to listen sometimes, but I said a G and then an A after the G, not before. And lasagna doesn't count because that's an Italian word.
Yeah.
I'm not going to count that.
It's not even and that is a hard G.
It's not lasagna.
In fact, the G is silent.
It's a soft G.
It's nya, which is
actually it is. Yeah, it's not a. You're right. It's a silent G.
Yeah,
it's not a soft
G. It's a GN, which is nya.
Yeah. There you go.
Take that.
Okay. Algae.
Algae.
Uh-oh. That's real. Algae's right. That's right.
Hey, you know what's stupid? Words.
Yeah.
We should all just talk telepathically.
Algae. That's what it looks like. Anyway. Got him. You did. There you go. It's true. It's true. Oh, shit. Yeah. All right. Well, anyway.
Why the fuck did you just say magnets, motherfucker?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like...
Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason to most of English. You just gotta kind of learn it by hear, which sucks.
Mm-hmm. And, God, like, fucking help anyone out there who has a bécherel and knows what it's for. Because if you think...
Other languages don't fucking have bécherel.
It's wild that, like these poor fucking saps don't even understand what it means to have to turn to a passé composé page and learn the differences between that and impératif.
Listen, gang.
Et passe parfait.
You got your in your French class, you got your French dictionary, of course. got your English-French dictionary, of course. This is pretty standard for any language, right?
Sure.
But then you have your Becherel.
Mm-hmm.
The Becherel is the verb book, only for verbs. Why? Because verbs in French are fucking bullshit. What is it, 16 fucking tenses? Do you have a fucking Becherel around here? Are you going to get a Becherel?
I believe.
Show me this Becherel.
I believe I have one.
Oh my goodness. This podcast is going crazy. We're getting academic.
I'm going to give it one look.
Spanish has it? Nah, it doesn't count. It's not a Becherel.
No, I have a mini Robert, though.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Remember the mini Robert?
I don't think I had one. Wooly, your dreads are getting into my cans.
It's okay.
It's okay. That's your house.
Yeah. I got a mini Robert. This is not quite the Becherel, unfortunately. However, it is la langue française et nom propre. And it's got, yeah, it's basically a proper noun dictionary. Because you can't just have a normal dictionary.
No.
You have to have a separate dictionary just for proper nouns. And the Becherel was just for conjugation. And that's literally it. It's a dictionary for conjugation of tenses.
Yeah, and so a person like me who's a primarily English speaker, I use passé composé and imparfait, and yeah, I know the other ones I'm using are wrong, but I don't care. I'm just gonna bullshit it.
Passe parfait, impératif.
Shut up. Shut up with the plus que parfait shit. I don't want to hear about...
Plus que parfait. Oui, c'est ça.
I hate that. I don't even know what it meant.
More than perfect. You
know,
have the past, you have the perfect past, perfect tense.
The
you
more
have
than perfect past.
future, right? And then you have the imperfect and then
future.
more than perfect. Yeah.
It's like these verb tenses sound like video game subtitles.
Yeah.
Future imperfect? That's totally fucking video game.
Subjunctif.
Oh, get out of here.
Holy fuck, dude. Yeah, perfect cell, exactly. More than perfect cell. This, like, you have to understand that you guys have it easy with English. It has a lot of dumb moments and a lot of inconsistent things. And anytime a teacher tells you I before E except after C, you tell that teacher to go fuck themselves.
That is a bullshit.
But, like, learning French is the real fucking struggle.
How do I know this? Because everybody that I know who's French language native speaks way better English than I do speak French.
There you go. Conditionnel simple. Yeah. And then you take something as simple as a je suis, tu es, il est, l'on, nous sommes, is whatever, you know.
Your 6 pronouns, yeah.
And then you just start throwing in all these other versions and you modify them and they modify, but then they just completely morph and throw out all the rules.
And now you have to say every sentence as if it was one long word.
Yeah.
Which is the problem Paige has listening to people, where she knows a little bit of French, but she knows them as words in a sentence, not je peux voir ça s'il vous plaît, like the one word fucking. It's bullshit.
What gender is that chair?
C'est un chaise, so it'd be a lady
Le chaise
chair.
or la chaise?
La chaise.
Mais pourquoi c'est la?
Parce que la chaise est féminin.
Mais pourquoi?
Chairs are girls.
Who decided that?
Some bitch.
Like, what? Yeah.
Chairs are girls and tits are men.
Yes. Yes, that's true. Yet somehow German has neutral as well.
Yeah.
To complicate things further.
Really? It has three?
German has 3. Yeah. Just before we wrap it up, someone's skating in at the last second.
I just like to look down and go, they're doing it again.
It's literally surrounding us every day of our lives in the city.
We live in a French majority city and province.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating little island of English out here.
Let's close out on some breaking news.
Breaking news!
Good Old Games has removed all Telltale games.
Ah, it's gone, yeah.
What's up with that?
Telltale's pulling stock. They're making the deal with the Epic shit, and they're pulling it from everywhere else.
Is Epic actually just pulling in?
No, Telltale is pulling it as a result of the deal. The shit's already gone from Steam. You know what's actually much more interesting breaking news? Did we talk about Good Old Games Galaxy 2? ever?
No.
Do you know what Galaxy 2 is?
No.
It's an Uber launcher for all of your platforms.
Whoa. How does that light work from a licensing?
It doesn't. You import your shit as apps, and it will categorize them and update them as it would.
And it just takes over?
It should, yeah.
Are they allowed?
Yes, those already exist in numerous forms.
Okay.
But the good old games are going to give it a shot. So hopefully they do a good shot, because that would be very nice.
That would be amazing.
And that's smart, because that gets everybody on the Galaxy Store, where good old games sells things.
Galaxy Brain Launcher.
And now I can get the Galaxy. Oh, wow.
That's really smart. That's really smart. So Telltale's games are just dropping off of stores?
You want to buy them? Go buy them on the fucking Epic Store, loser.
Or physically?
Yeah, well,
yikes.
you can't stop physical.
Oh, fuck. Okay, so actually I need to go buy... Come to think of it, I probably need to go buy Guardians. I didn't buy that one.
You're fine.
I want to take a look. I want to know. I want to know. All right. Yeah, let's call it there.
Okay, let's call it there.
Goodbye,
check
everybody.
out Wooly at Woolyversus. Check out me at Angry's
Pat.
Okay, bye, everybody.
See ya.